There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out. Haven't seen you in seasons, but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits, you can break me down, but I'll stay till the finish line. And I've been counting minutes for quite some time now, just to see you again. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been finding ways to get away, to see you again, see you again. We got millions of reasons to let it all go. Hope we're not too broken. I know I'm not always strong. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been finding ways to get away, to see you again, see you again.
Hi. 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 I guess you could say happy Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? I guess it's Tuesday. Hello, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Let's see who we have here. Let's see who we have here. We got I'm sure we got some superstars. We got some superstars in chat. We got who do we got? We got Resident Union Thug. Hello, Resident Union Thug. Hello, Resident Union Thug. We got by the way, we also actually technically Sir Bartholomew was first. So hello, Sir Bartholomew. And you're totally right about what you said about the Epstein file, Sir Bartholomew. Doug, hello, Doug. Is that Mark Epstein said he heard it's going to be doctored? Is that so, Doug? I am not surprised. Maybe we'll talk about that a bit. That's interesting. Okay. Hello, Meow Zord. Meow, meow. Meow Zord's here. Meow. SoCal, hello SoCal. Mal's wrote the first one over on Twitch. Hello SoCal, okay? I By the way, SoCal, there is a documentary coming out about the LA fires I'm really excited about because I love weather disaster things. I mean, I don't like the disaster. I just like watching things about them. But anyway, speaking of California, uh, okay, hello Jay Shadow, our hunter in residence here. Uh, okay, Mouser, don't get excited. I don't mean like a hunter from Halo. Anyway, we got a Jay Shadow, y'all. The TMZ's reported that Jeff Epstein's brother is saying that the government is wiping all the Republican names in the file. Is that so, Jay Shadow? Okay, well, I would not be surprised if that's the case at all. Interesting. Soup Cheese is here. Soup Cheese is here. Soup Cheese. Hello, Soup Cheese. Soup Cheese, do you have pimentos in you? Do you have like little cut up pimentos that are kind of sprinkled in you? Because that would make it a delicious cheese soup. Okay. Anyway, hello, Alyssa. Hello, Alyssa. Yeah, welcome, Alyssa. You can chat. I guess you can chat today, Alyssa. Have you been busy, Alyssa? Is that why you're saying that? I've not been able to met. Okay, thank you, Cheese Soup. Okay, please do that. Meowzord, hello, Famachiki. Okay, Dex, hello, Dex. Welcome, Dex. Love your name, Dex. Have you been here before, Dex? I think you may have been, but great name, Dex. Great to see you here, Dex. Welcome to the chat here. Correct, Meowzord, only 11 months. Um, yeah, that's right, SoCal. It is probably because of um probably because of this wildfire season starting. Meowzord, yes, I love the. By the way, I recommend everyone if you. It is kind of traumatizing, but I love disaster, like weather disaster, natural disaster things. I don't know, I'm weird, but there's a really good one called Rescue from Wakari, which Mauser just talked about. It's really good. I think it's on. Is it on? I think it's on Netflix. It's definitely a horror movie, but like a real horror movie where it's a documentary and it's scary. Okay, Netflix. Okay, Twitch wouldn't let you chat. Why, Alyssa? That's so weird. I don't get it. I don't get it, Alyssa. I really don't get it. Okay, guys. So, hey. I'm feeling a bit better today, so that's good. So this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Sammy Lammy's back. Hello, Sammy Lammy. So a few things. Yeah, probably Meowzord. I want to be the only one. Oh, that's what that's from. Dex Stewart. That makes sense. Masked Rider. Okay, I thought it sounded familiar. That's amazing. Hello, Dex Stewart. Okay, guys. So first thing we're gonna do. Right now, Trump is live. Now, I know. We don't like it. I probably won't watch the whole thing, but we won't watch it because I think he's actually done talking at this point. Now that I'm looking at the screen, what I did want to show you, though, yeah, he's done talking. But what I did want to show you, um, what I did want to show you at the very least was how he greeted. So today, Trump is greeting Mohammed bin Salman. Um, uh, me too, Alyssa. Okay. He's greeting Mohammed bin Salman, you know, the guy who chopped up Jamal Khashoggi and who's like an authoritarian, blah 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 blah. And he greeted hello outer signal. Maybe we should look at that outer signal. He greeted Mohammed bin Salman, this monstrous war criminal, killer, and authoritarian, who's also very manipulative, with a lovely little show. And I just wanted to share it all with you. Basically, Malzord, and it made me cringe so much. Like we don't even have to really watch much of what was said at the press conference. Maybe we will, but I just wanted to show that to you. In the meantime, while I'm getting that set up here, where is the intro? Where is it? Where he actually greets the greeting, the bizarre ass greeting. That's like a weird halt thing. And you know what? I don't know. I don't think other presidents have done it like this before. I really don't. I feel like maybe I'm just imagining because I don't like Trump, but this seems like uniquely awkward to me. Though you know all these presentations are kind of awkward because they're just shows essentially. Here we go. I'll find it. Okay, so uh, yeah, a little Moloch ceremony exactly. So okay, before we get to that, as I'm going to put up my face, we have 10 super chats. Right, we get one super chat. I'll put on the jester hat. If we get 3 super chats, jester caller. 5. I don't know why I can't get this live chat thing to disappear. why won't this go down? If we get, I'm sorry, yeah, 3 super chats caller. Now, yeah, I think that's a good way of framing it, Papadaka. Other presidents don't welcome with such rapturous applause murderous people. Okay. If we get to 7 super chats, I'll do the makeup. Why am I increasing the number we need for the makeup? I need to actually put my face up. I just realized. Because, folks, it's an issue of supply and demand. I'm running low on makeup, so I have to increase the value of it to make up for the lack of supply. So if we get to 7, I'll do the makeup also to protect my skin. And then afterwards, okay, I am setting a new thing. If we get to $50, not 10 super chats, if we get to $50, I will do a late night stream. Okay. So 1 jester hat, 3 jester collar, 7 jester makeup, and if we get to $50, I will do a jester after dark stream. Okay. If that makes sense. That is my greed coming out, mainly because I need to buy more makeup and because I'm trying to make more money this month. Okay, anyway, just to be honest with you. So we'll do that. All right. How about that? Okay. Now let's I'll do meow after dark on Discord. Meowzord, how dare you? How dare you? Damn it, you're gonna make me do a bidding war. You're gonna make me do a bidding war, Meowzord. Although admittedly, Meowzord, you do some pretty good meows after dark, right? Because you do talk a lot of people on Discord. Okay, so let's watch this. All right. I don't know why I can't get the chat to disappear. I really would like the chat to disappear. I will reset it. Maybe it'll disappear then. So there we go. That's better. So let's watch this. It's hilariously bad. All right. So it's on. It's on. All right. So everyone's standing there quietly waiting for it. I'll make sure to pull it up. Okay. Look at it. It's like a cult meeting. It's like a cult meeting. Hello, Skittish Kitten. Welcome. Yeah, that's true. Soul After Dark would be better. I would actually love to. You mean Soup After Dark, Soup Cheese? Because Soul After Dark sounds good too. That sounds like we're playing Dark Souls After Dark, which I would love. Adult Soup. Yeah, there we go. Adult Soup. All right, 1 second. All right, here we go. All right, here's where it starts. Here's where all the display of insanity starts. Yay! Thank you, Alyssa, for subscribing. Ooh, who was it, Skittish Kitten? While we wait here for the, I think it's like it'll be here in like I'm trying to find the exact moment. Here we go. Who was it that popped up today, Skittish? So they're obviously playing some cute music outside the White House. I know it's kind of hard to hear, but alas, it is quiet right now. And then you'll see all the awkwardness commences. And you notice the Saudi reps are over here. Oh, I am not surprised. I know, right? Look at all the pomp and circumstance for the war criminal. Isn't this fun? Isn't this great? Katie Couric, I mean, I'm not surprised at all, a Skittish Kitten, not at all. Now, Katie Couric, I wonder what her relationship was to all this. Cory Booker, not surprised. Okay, look at the Saudi reps over here. I'm surprised they let their woman out. I'm sorry, that sounded kind of, I'm making a point by saying that, okay? I'm surprised they let their woman out into public. I'm not, by the way, but for those who might get confused about what I'm saying, I'm not bashing Muslims. I'm bashing the Saudi Arabia, which is remarkably misogynistic. Okay, here we go. All right. Oh, so exciting, so exciting. Thank you, Outer Signal. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Here we go. Oh, right, Papadaka. They probably do on the. They definitely do on the inside, right? Yes, thank you, Skittish Kid. Okay. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Oh, yeah, blows raspberry. Look at all this. Isn't this great? Look at him standing there proudly, his eyes squinting, not really sure where he is, kind of confused probably, not even sure what country he's meeting. God, it's like a Roman triumph or some shit. Okay. Yeah, Meowzord, yeah, they are. As well, this is complicated. I would say the South. So I'm not. But yeah. By the way, you all know when I'm bashing the Saudis here. We of course have a lot of issues in our country, like some of them worse. But anyway, uh, yeah, they are racist too, though. Meowser, like they're not very friendly to people from Southeast Asia or the Indian folks that come and work for them for basically slave wages. They're not very nice. The Saudis are, at least. The people of Saudi Arabia, that's different. But yeah, he's an orange. But look, here, look at these. Look at these horses going by with the Saudi flags next to the American flags. Honestly, that's fair. Both are kind of, both are somewhat fundamentalist. Both love oil. And here we go. Here we go. Here comes bin Salman arriving. Yeah, the Saudi flag blowing. It's very symbolic, right, Alyssa? Look at this. There he is. Do you think bin Salman has some of his enemy's body parts underneath what he's wearing, and he's just gonna like an arm's just gonna flop out accidentally while he's walking? He'd be like, "Oh, sorry, that was the journalist from a few days ago. I forgot to throw this out." I mean, actually, that might happen with Trump too. Let's be honest. Yeah, absolutely outer signal. Yeah, outer signal. Oh, look! Now look! You see, I don't know if you heard it, but there were jets just flew overhead. And notice bin Salman's face. He's so happy. Okay, but bin Salman, even though he's not a good person, he's pretty good at being manipulative and charismatic. So like he's like, oh, I love this. Like he's playing it up, trying to make Trump like him more. Yeah. All right. There we go. Isn't this great? I blew my mind. No, you know what? SoCal, you're probably right about that. He's just happy he's so much taller than Trump. All right, there they go into the White House. Oh, guys. Oh, isn't this cute? Isn't this cute? Don't we love this? And I don't know. We know where the next Trump tower. Right. Almost certainly Saudi Arabia. By the way, good point, Skittish. A lot of corruption between those countries. Like Saudi Arabia has paid for a lot of Trump's crap. Okay. By the way, we funded Saudi Arabia. We funded their weapons when they were committing a genocide in Yemen. Okay, we get it. Look there. Let's see. Who do we got here? We got Marco Rubio. I don't know who that is. We got Pete Hegseth. I can't see who some of these people are. Regardless, a bunch of loons. It's kind of like I don't know. I feel like I'm the jester, but I feel like this is just like a caravan of clowns. Okay. All right. So there we go, guys. There we go. There's that. That was the bizarre intro I thought you'd all enjoy. Hello, Mithril. Okay. Now, do you guys want to, do you want to watch some of what they were saying? Let's just see if it's worth anything. Okay. No. Okay, Malzord. Well, okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I am just did not enjoy 0 out of 10. Okay, fair, Alyssa. I just want to see.
America, but we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden.
Okay, Osama bin Laden, always stupid, never accurate, very true.
We have, although the
1 second.
construction industry sees it. If you look at Caterpillar, who's been incredible, the tractors, everything else.
Okay, yeah, classic shit. Okay, so because I only got Malzord's, no, I will go off what Malzord says. Okay, it won't be worth it. Okay, then we got this. We got this. We're done. Okay, excellent. Yay! Yeah, it literally just ended, Alyssa. There's no highlight clips yet, so we'll just see what happens. But I thought you'd all find that interesting. That nice little fascist entrance. Nice little fascist entrance. Two monsters meeting each other. Uh, okay, SoCal also agrees. Okay, yeah, we'll skip it. So, all right. All right, guys. So, yeah, Papadaka probably Papadaka. Darn it, Papadaka. Now I just want to call you in your groove because I'm used to you being in your groove. So I'm like, I keep seeing Papadaka and thinking, oh, in your groove, but then call you Papadaka. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. So let's do this, folks. This is a very short presentation. Very short. Okay, got you in your groove. Very short presentation today. Uh, uh, and no, we're not doing this because I'm a homosexual. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about fashion, but not like you know. SoCal knows what I mean. We're not talking fashion, if you know what I mean. Okay, I know I'm being kind of discriminatory there, SoCal. My apologies. We're talking from an anthropological perspective here, just briefly. It won't take long. Then we'll do some other crap. A lot of stuff happening in the news. Again, folks, if we get 1 super chat, we'll get the jester hat, 3 jester collar, 7 jester makeup, and then if we get up to 50, we'll do a jester after dark. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about clothing, class, and power. I made this pretty quickly. Have fun, skittish kitten. No, Mithril, we're not doing that. Okay, you'll see. There's a point to this. Okay. All right. Hello, Miro. Okay. So first of all, hello, Miro. Okay. So, and this is simplified. There's more I could say on this, but I honestly just didn't have enough time to make it that in depth. But regardless, so let's begin with some assumptions, shall we? Oh, that's cool, Miro. Okay. All right. Let's begin with some assumptions, shall we? All humans, I think we can all agree to these things, right? All humans are fundamentally the same. All right. Yeah, and if we simply eyeballed naked humans, we would have no way of differentiating between them, except by pointing to differences in certain biological traits, right? Like, that person has breasts, that person doesn't have breasts, this person has brown hair, that person has red hair, that person has white skin, lighter skin, that one has darker skin. But they're humans, right? The visible difference, it doesn't matter. They're visible differences, but they're still humans. Okay. Humans are all fundamentally the same, right? We get that? Okay. Uh, and So we'll make that assumption first, that humans are fundamentally the same, which is true, okay? Except for small biological differences. Some of them you can't see, by the way. Like some people have, certain things and certain genetics that others don't have. Anyway, okay. The next thing we're going to assume is this: human societies are hierarchical and ranked. Now, obviously, we're not really referring to hunter-gatherers here, although, yes, there is some of that in hunter-gatherer, but not really, very little. So human societies are hierarchical and ranked in most places, and that this requires that some individuals or groups of humans be perceived as different from the rest, right? Because if all human beings are fundamentally the same, and we live in societies where human beings are ranked or hierarchical, there needs to be some way of perceiving that people of different ranks or groups are in fact different from other people, right? Right? Now, I'm not. By the way, I'm not saying any of this is good. I'm just saying what the reality is. Okay, and this is a cultural materialist perspective here. Okay. Um, and lastly, the last assumption we're going to make. Oh, darn it, SoCal. See, that's what I get for stereotyping. Okay. Without a clear way to differentiate humans of different ranks, it would be hard. It would be hard to maintain hierarchies and ranks. So again, the 3 assumptions we're making on this presentation, are humans are fundamentally the same. Human societies are hierarchical and ranked, and that this requires that some are perceived as different, even though they're all the same. And it would be hard to maintain hierarchies and ranks without a way to differentiate between these different classes and ranks, right? Okay. Now, before I go on to the next slide here, there are some ways to do this without clothing. And this is where we get into a bunch of isms. One way that a society could do this is race, right? And we've seen that a lot. You have black people who are viewed as inferior to white people. You don't need clothing for that. You could also do it based off gender. Because, like I said at this first thing, there are some biological traits that are different. They're tiny. They don't impact anything. But you could technically use those small differences as things that differentiate people, or men and women. You can differentiate by that. Okay. So there are ways to do this that aren't linked to clothing, um, in very dark and horrible ways. Okay. Uh, now, now let's talk about clothing. All right. Clothing has does I said three things, as I even though I listed four, does four things. There's other things. Um uh exactly, Meowzord, exactly. Okay. Yeah. Which is a thing that is done specifically to women, right, Meowzord? Okay. So let's talk about these four things. Clothing does four things. It does more than this, but for the sake of the argument I'm making, I'm only going to talk about four of them. Most of these sound negative. I don't want you to think that clothing is also a way of like expressing yourself, being independent, standing out from a group, etc. So don't think there's anything bad about wanting to like dress well or whatever, but we're talking big picture things. Okay, so here we go. Clothing does four things. First, it's functional. All right? It's functional. However, like you need to wear, like if it's cold, you need to wear something, right? You need to keep things cold. You need to keep things warm or cold, okay? Uh how dare you, soup cheese? Okay. It's functional. However, in this regard, it is almost universally true that fashion is much more important than function. I'll give you some examples. Okay. So, for example, if there is a fashion, by the way, fashion are like trends in what is socially acceptable to wear over time. Okay. And so, what is fashionable changes over time. Almost always, though, like if you have to choose between something that's functional and fashionable, most people will go with fashionable rather than functional. So let me give you an example. Here is so number one, it's functional, but fashion before function. So here we have an example. Here is I guess could be called clothing. Even though it's made of metal, it is a form of clothing. Hello, soup cheese. Hello, Lee Lane. Oh wait, I already said hello to soup cheese. Hello, Lee Lane. This is a knight's armor. Um, Okay, right, Mithril, okay? Uh, yeah, okay, and what I mean, Mithril, is that, like, fashion typically is favored over function when people have to choose, because people like power, okay? So, for example, here we have a knight, all right? This is a knight's armor, this is a fashion choice, you don't need to have your armor look like this, but it's still functional, right? It's still functional. It protects you from blows from the enemy, not the kind that Trump gave to Bill Clinton. Deflects from actually it might because there's an armor plating there. Regardless, this is a form of fashion. You can see that it's like it has kind of it's decorative or stuff. Okay, so all right, so this is functional, right? Well, then you get to these things. Now, when I went to a armor museum in Cleveland. There's the Cleveland Metropolitan Museum, which had an armor exhibit, and I saw these things, and I did not understand. Okay, so there was a time in Europe, yeah, exactly, soup cheese. There was a time in Europe where it became extremely fashionable for knights wearing armor to have these long protrusions coming off of the ends of their feet, and I kid you not. It seemed like every generation they got longer, or like every year, like these things got longer. And like it was a sign of being very fashionable. You want very long, these spiky things on the end of your feet. They are utterly, by the way, unfunctional. As a matter of fact, good for kicking, right, Dexter? Okay. As a matter of fact, you could not really ride a horse with these. And you would have to, by the way, knights rely on horses a lot of the time. Then a knight would essentially have to remove these before getting on a horse a lot of the time, because otherwise it'd be very impractical to have these things on. And yet it would also cause like your fellow knights to trip over you. because these are long and sticking out. So, but it didn't matter because this was fashionable. So knights still wore them, even though it actually was detrimental to their combat ability in some ways. Um, and okay, and they okay. So again, it does not. And by the way, folks, for the folks saying that you could use this to kick and stuff, not really. They're not that sharp. And they would cause more problems than they were helpful. You really wouldn't want to be kicking like kicking anyway. You really wouldn't have that you really like what are you going to do? Kick into their armor? It's not going to help much. Um it just was a fashion thing, okay? A really weird ass fashion thing. And because fashion is often for human beings more important than function, they wore it even though it was kind of unfunctional. It could be for kicking peasants, Meowsword, right? Right? So, oftentimes in cultures, fashion is more important than function, okay? Which is kind of irrational, I guess, but again, human beings, that's what we do. Let me give you another example. Two things here. Now, coming from a culture that is hey, that's up hey, that's okay. You can like it's fine to like them, right? That's what fashion is, right? It's like we can it's okay to like these things. It's just that okay. It's just that they're not very functional, right? Okay. On the left here, you have some real nice. Hello, you're a smart guy. I'm feeling quite a bit better. You're a smart guy. You have some very nice, high heels, I guess. What are they called? God, I should know this. Very tall high heels. Very tall high heels. Now, these are very fashionable. They were especially fashionable a while ago. These very, very tall, what are platform shoes? Is that what they're called? Um, and these are very fashionable. For anyone who's ever worn high heels, though, thank you, thank you, SoCal. Um, Stilettos, okay? Not functional, okay? Like now, a lot of times there's a lot of women who are used to wearing these because they've done it a lot, so they're better at moving around in them. But even then, you're not going to be able to run that fast, okay? You're not going to be able to move around that easily. I mean, so high heels, not exactly suicide heels, right? Not functional, okay? Or at least the function doesn't matter as much. What matters is the fashion. I know, Yaha, okay. All right. Resident Union Thug, that brings us to the next thing. Excellent. Okay. Resident Union Thug says, I'm convinced high heels were designed to oppress women. Resident Union Thug. Now, although I don't know enough about high heels to make that decision, I would guess it probably does. I would guess those probably do have something to do with oppressing women. I definitely know that the thing on the right definitely has something to do with oppressing women. Okay, so then we have this thing on the right. This is an Edwardian corset. Okay, an Edwardian corset. There was a time where women would wear very, 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 very small corsets that were very tight. Very tight. And this was a fashion thing that was meant to um, okay, that's a Meowser, that's very fair. That's why I don't know enough about high heels to know for sure if that can be linked to oppression. Corsets, on the other hand, I do think they can be, and I'll explain why. We're talking these very, very, very small corsets, these Edwardian corsets. Um, so these Edwardian corsets were so tight that it would basically constrain their women's internal organs. And even doctors at the time were like, "We can't. What are we doing? This is so super unhealthy." Yeah, and it would cause all kinds of health problems. Women would often pass out, would faint because they had trouble breathing. There was a stereotype at the time, this is the 19th century, where the idea that women will get the vapors and they'll pass out easily, like, oh, I'm passing out. Well, you're going to do that quite a bit if you're wearing a corset and you have to exert yourself in any way, shape, or form. You're probably going to pass out because you're not going to be able to breathe much wearing a tight corset. And this also had the implication of Thank you, Resident Thug. Of basically making you reliant on someone not wearing a corset to do strenuous activity, right? So, just for the sake of you not passing out or overexerting yourself, who would not be wearing a corset? A man that was nearby. So, if you need to, get out of that carriage, a man better help you get out of the carriage. You better let him open the door for you. If you ever need to run or move anywhere quickly, you better have him pick him up and carry you because you're going to pass out. Anyway, regardless, this is not functional, right? This is not functional. This is just like fashion. Okay. I wasn't intending to talk about the social aspects of this, but we'll get to that in the next section. But yeah. All right. Um, Pretty bad. Not functional, but very fashionable. Okay. And by the way, this isn't to say that men were like always forcing women to wear these. Like women chose to wear them also. I don't want to oversimplify this, but yeah, as a popular fashion, it worked very much to totally SoCal. It would very much work to make women more reliant on men who are nearby. Okay. Anyway, so the next thing about clothing is that they reinforce difference in hierarchy in some ways. Okay. So first we talked about how clothes are functional. Um, Jesus Christ, Mithril, that's crazy. Okay. All right. So, uh, so, re, reinforces difference in hierarchy, right? Okay, here we go. So, what do I mean by that? Remember how I said we're making the assumption here all humans are the same, right? All human beings are human beings. Shocking. I don't know if you noticed that's a refrain on this show. All human beings are human beings. So, if you have a system where there's like a king or a class or a caste that is considered superior and more powerful to another group of people, dear God, Mithril, that's horrific. You would have to have some way of differentiating yourself from the unwashed masses, right? Otherwise, you're just one of them. So here we have an image from ancient Egypt. On the left, you have farmers. Okay. Okay. On the left, you have farmers, just like Egyptian farmers. And on the right, you have a pharaoh. Do we see a difference here? Okay. Reinforcing a hierarchy, the pharaoh has lovely clothing, gold, gems, has a crown. By the way, crown, very common symbol that is used to reinforce hierarchy to show you're the one with authority. Because if he was dressed like the farmers, like who's going to look up to you then? You just look like a farmer, right? So you got to make sure that it reinforces difference in hierarchy, right? So the farmers, not so great. The clothing, just kind of simple. The pharaoh, pretty cool clothing, pretty bright. And on his head, by the way, are the crowns of Upper and Lower Egypt, symbolizing his authority. Because you basically have to like shove it in people's faces. Look, I have authority. Look, I have authority. You don't have authority. I have authority. Because otherwise, you're just another person, right? Right, Meowsord? Okay. So, oh my God, that does look like a milk jug, Meowsord. I didn't even notice that. Okay. He also has a butterfly proboscis coming out of his hat. Okay. By the way, I'm not trying to make fun of it. Fashion's different. Okay. Also, a lot of this stuff not very functional. Okay. All right. Uh, by the way, for those who like fantasy, a lot of ancient rulers would have staves like he has, which then kind of created the notion that people with power have staffs that they wield to use magic with, because that gives you power, right? Having a staff, it must represent that you have power, even sometimes magical power. Because remember, the pharaoh was a god, so staves became associated with wizards. Okay. All right. Here's another example of this. You got King Louis XIV on the right. Speaking of what Malzord said, you can see here King Louis XIV wearing high heels because fashion changes over time. Okay. Fashion changes over time. This was considered very masculine at the time. And this is why I am not sure if high heels were, in fact, linked to oppression of women. It might be the case. I don't know enough about it. But you can see here over time, fashion changes. Men used to wear high heels as well. He also is wearing tights. Okay. Regardless, he's dressed a bit differently than the peasants on the left, wouldn't we say? Okay. He's just a regular person, guys. Just a regular person. No different from anyone else born on the planet. But because of the clothing he's wearing, he certainly seems a bit different. Okay. All right. A way of enforcing difference. through clothing. Okay. All right. Here we got a more modern day example. On the left here, you have, I don't know how to phrase it. I just tried to find a picture of a woman just kind of out for the day, like walking down the street. Okay. She's just kind of wearing regular clothing, some jean shorts, some sandals. Um, and on the right here, you got to have hats for everything, right? So she's on the right here, you have a billionaire. She's called the Queen of Versailles. She's the wife of one of the wealthiest realtors in the country. Okay. And can we see a difference in the dress and things like that? Uh, what, like some of the things that, for example, women who are the elites kind of value these days is having blonde hair, I've noticed. Also having tan skin. There's a reason for that, by the way. Wearing these kind of clothing. Okay. So there's a difference here in terms of presentation. Okay. And by the way, one of the reasons why tanning became a mark of being a powerful person higher up in the hierarchy was because most workers these days are inside all day. Most workers work in an office building or work in a factory or work somewhere indoors, which means you're not getting much sun, which means your skin is going to be lighter colored. Uh, but if you have the leisure and the time to be outside, doing things like, playing tennis or doing things outside, you get more of a tan. And only the wealthy and the elites basically have time, a lot of the time, to do that. I'm obviously oversimplifying this. So having a tan became more symbolic of wealth and success, which is why tanning beds became so popular, because a lot of working class people will often try to mimic the elites and things like that, and that because it became fashionable. Does that make sense? Okay, you are correct, Meowzord, that it is the opposite in Asia, but in the United States, tanning still is partially something that is supposed to be a sign of being an elite, okay, of being powerful, of being wealthy, okay. It's a way of differentiating yourself from the working class. All right. We could talk about this for days, okay? Next thing that clothing does. Next thing that clothing does. It conceals differences exactly in your groove. And this is another example of where fashion comes before function in your groove. We only a little skin cancer for the fashion, right? Right. It's very unfunctional. It gives you skin cancer. It's bad for your health. It ages your skin faster. But for the fashion, right? Okay. Um, right. Uh, and by the way, folks, well, okay. Uh, there's also a racial component to this in that most people in the a large number of people in the United States are white, therefore having lighter skin. Like this one, it makes sense if everyone in the United States had dark skin, because then there wouldn't be such thing as a tan. But it kind of reveals the racial makeup of the society that tanning is. Anyway, we could go into the racial stuff, okay? But all right. So something else that clothing does is something else clothing does is yeah, there you go, Mithril. You're right. Okay. By the way, I highly recommend everyone watch it. She is in a documentary called The Queen of Versailles, and it is a study in the in American elites and wealth. It is a very good documentary. They follow her around. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. Okay. The Queen of Versailles. And during their filming, the financial crisis of 2008 happened. And a lot happens in that documentary. But anyway, you should watch it. Okay. The next thing that clothing does, it conceals differences. It conceals differences. Although human beings are the same, remember I said that there are some small biological differences between individuals, like different skin colors, different body parts, depending on your assigned your sex at birth. Okay. Different hair colors, things like that. Okay. Which human beings, being kind of still animalistic, are like, oh, they different than me, they scary. Regardless, there are situations where where we want to suppress any of these differences. Okay. We want to suppress these differences. Okay. Here's an example. The police, which I know you all love. Got a bunch of Blue Lives Matter people in here, I'm sure. Okay. Here we got the police wearing uniforms, standing in lines, attempting to conceal difference, right? Attempting to conceal difference. This also, by the way, showing rank like we did in the last one because they each have how dare you, smart guy? They each have different ranks and stuff. Okay, so it also allows you to see what their rank is in a hierarchy. But sometimes, especially when it's a state apparatus, how dare you, you're a smart guy. A state apparatus wants the people that work for them to be viewed as a single unit working for the state. Okay, you do not have an individuality. You're not a human. You are a cog in a machine. You are simply a functionary that's part of a greater whole. You do not have an individual personality. You are not an individual. You are part of a unit. Okay, you are part of a collective identity. Now, this can be useful, especially if you're at war, because you need to act as a unit, or like if you're in combat. Yeah, you kind of want to get rid of individual difference because you need to act like a unit. You don't want anything sort of getting in the way of that. Of course, I'm not referring to like gender or anything. You can still act as a unit with different biological differences. So I'm saying when you have like uniforms, it makes sense. All right, but getting rid of difference is something else that clothing can do. It's sort of authoritarian, if you guys didn't notice. Okay, sort of authoritarian. Get rid of anything differentiating us. Right, Meow. Exactly. But notice, Meowzord, it is the police, right? Um, they're a unit, right? They like that. They are a unit. Okay, that and I know you don't. I know what you're saying, Meowzord. You're being kind of funny, but okay. Thank you so much, Matt Sci Guy. Okay, I'm sorry. You're a smart guy. I'm going to put on the hat here. All right. So, all right. But folks, it is an illusion, right? They are people, but they want to create the illusion of not being people, of being these, and they try to turn them into cogs in a machine. Sometimes they succeed. But okay. So don't be fooled. Human beings, we're pretty easily manipulated, okay? All right. Here's another example of this. And actually, this is an example of something I somewhat support. And you all can yell at me for this. These are school children who have been put in uniforms. So this is complicated. I shouldn't say I support it. I should say I am not convinced that not having uniforms is a bad thing. Okay. Allow me to explain why. All right. In a school, especially when you're amongst teenagers, having individuality, that sounds bad. Having too much individuality allows cliques to form. It allows these students to demonize each other. It also allows people to see class differences. Like if you can afford a certain outfit, but your friend cannot, it's going to be very apparent. It creates cultural divides. It allows, people coming from a different culture might have a different form of dress. It just divides people in a school. And the one thing you want people in a school to know is you want to teach children is that they are all human beings. It doesn't matter where you're from and stuff. And because teenagers are so easily influenced or manipulated by things like clothing, I really like the idea of uniforms. I just do. I think uniforms are good for schools. And boy, but guys, like, yeah, and you're right, Meowzord. I suspect, thank you, Meowzord and SoCal. I don't think that that they should have to pay for it. I think that's a problem. Okay, I think that's a problem. I think they should be free. I think they should be given. But if that were to, I know, hey, Alyssa, I get it. I understand. I am not 100%. I know you call me a fascist, Alyssa. I am not 100% convinced that is correct. But from my experience in schools, and I went in thinking that uniforms were not a good idea. I left being like, you know what? I know, Alyssa. I think uniforms are a good idea, and I wish that. Though I do wish, as you guys mentioned, that they'd be paid for. Resident Union Thug. I remember other school girls in school bullying me because I never wore brand names. Exactly, Resident Union Thug. So this is another way of concealing difference. It is not always a bad thing. I guess, okay. Um, I agree. You're a smart guy. I agree. Schools should take the burden of the uniform costs. Okay, Miro. Excellent. Okay. Excellent, Miro. Yeah. Miro agrees. No, I get it, Alyssa. And here's the thing, Alyssa. So Alyssa says it just sucks because so much of being a teen is expressing yourself through your fashion. And Alyssa, teens can express themselves outside of school, right? And I just feel like in a collective environment where folks are learning together and trying to, especially how I like to try to teach, trying to teach each other about your shared humanity, it helps um, to do this. And yeah, I agree, Alyssa. I would only want this though if it was paid for by the state. If those uniforms were free, I don't think anyone should have to pay for these things. So okay, all right. I will say there is one problem to this. There is one problem to this. Policing it. Uh, they do, Alyssa, but from my experience, they're more fluid. I know that sounds crazy, but they are more fluid. A lot of times these cliques in private schools, people move in and out of them more because, and I went to a private school. I've taught at public schools because they all look the same while they're in the school. This is complicated. I will say this though. One of the issues with this is policing it. What would happen if uh okay, what would happen if, like, and I've seen this happen, like a lot of times the norms for this are very gendered. Look in this image. You have the girls wearing skirts, the guys wearing pants. Honestly, if I would make this policy, I would say, yeah, I would say they all had to wear pants or they all had to wear skirts. I'm not being biased here. I don't like the gendering of it. I will say these are better uniforms than I typically see because these, at least everything on top is the same, right? I will say though, this becomes an issue, especially if you have girls wearing something different than guys, like a skirt. And we could do that in your group. You could do that, okay? Um, uh, if you, for example, some schools do things like the length of the skirt has to be a certain length, which is already getting kind of weird because how do you police that? I have seen scenarios where male teachers will take a girl out of a class and then measure her skirt length to see if it's not short, if it's too short. And I don't know. That's kind of weird. I don't think we need to be doing things like measuring a girl's skirt. Yeah, they can be too short in this kind of environment. Uh, but uh, it is not. Yeah, you're a smart guy. Like that is. So again, I wish they would all kind of address the same. Yeah, Doug on the left, though that's my thing, Doug on the left. That was my initial thought. Doug on the left says we're teaching the kids to conform. Um, uh, okay. We're teaching the kids to conform. Hard to do. And you know, Doug, I do not like teaching people to conform. That's why I initially did not support uniforms. But I think it's important to teach kids that you don't the clothes you wear is not indicative of your individuality, right? You express there's other ways to express your individuality and how you think and how you talk and things like that. I just don't like the message. It is worse to me to reinforce class differences, wealth differences, and things like that by having everyone wear whatever they want, because to me that is conforming to society. I feel like it's more breaking down those barriers if you do have the uniforms. Anyway, but I'm not. This is not something I'm like. That's a fair point, Meowser. That could be the point. Um, yeah, I agree, Matt Saigai. Like with high wealth disparity. Um, yeah, exactly, Miro. And it's also a consumerism thing. It reinforces consumerism and stuff like that. But again, guys, I don't have hello, Drizel. I don't have a monopoly on truth in this regard. That's my opinion. But this is another example of where clothes are used to reduce or to erase difference. Okay. All right. Now, here we have an image of Congress. Um, yeah, Miro. Yeah. Uh, yeah, Miro. Exactly my point. Okay. But again, we can all disagree on this. I certainly have no impact on that policy, but okay. Here we have a bunch of men in Congress speaking about eliminating difference, right? Um, you got all these guys here all wearing suits essentially. Now, I always thought it was odd how women did not I don't know what this is about. Maybe we had to yeah, Lane, let me know what you think, maybe in the Discord. I don't know what you all think about this. I don't know enough about this to have an opinion on it. I always thought it was odd that women did not that wore such different things in like a space like this. Like you see, there's the woman in red, there's the woman in blue. These men basically have the same general colors that they're wearing. The ties are a bit different. Anyway, but that would be an example of sort of um, exactly, Alyssa. Like, so again, this is just Mithril, same rules apply in Westminster, Sierra. I long for the day someone turns up in a Chumbawamba t-shirt, right, Mithril? Okay. So again, this is just you know, this is another way of eliminating difference. I'm not sure what what I don't have much analysis of this. Um, um, okay, Doug. All right. Uh, Doug says, how does that promote growth? If students can't tell if other students are in different circumstances. Doug, have you ever taught in a high school? Have you ever taught in a high school? Oh, well, I'm sorry. Wait, you're not a teacher, right, Doug? I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I would just only thought you were a teacher for a second. You have to understand, Doug, high schoolers are extremely cliquey. Extremely cliquey. They will, if they can see a difference in circumstance, they will exploit that difference in circumstance. So I view it as combating a social norm, the idea of class as a social norm. Oh, you have a high schooler, Doug? Okay, like the idea of having class as a social norm. Um, the idea of that's right. He does. You're right. You have a high school. You didn't teach. That's right. Okay. Um, like so to me it does promote growth because then they can stop focusing on forming these tribal cliques and focus more on each other's shared humanity. And by the way, they will still know outside of the school based off clothing. But while they're in the school, I would much rather overcome those boundaries. Again, though, I don't have a monopoly on this. But that's fair, Doug. Okay. All right. Okay. So lastly here, it communicates and reinforces a society's values. Clothing does. So we've talked about one, it's functional, but fashion always comes before function. Two, we talked about it it rank it creates ranks, or I'm sorry, what was the phrase here? It reinforces difference and hierarchy. And lastly, it communicates and reinforces a society's values. Okay. So these almost all these examples are from America, though partially also Europe. So pardon me for that. I could use more world examples, but I just couldn't help myself. This is a very okay. Okay. Here we got a what I don't even know. This is a type of bag. I think it's called a Bergen. I don't know. It's about a $300,000 bag. And bags, as soon as you see them, people who know bags, especially like upper class people, know that it is an expensive bag. So a lot of times, like the bags in thank you, Birkin, not Bergen. Jesus. Okay. This and having something like this reinforces a bunch of our ideas, right? One, that the display of wealth, right? Having wealth means you're a higher ranking person because we live in a capitalist society. Two, the notion that this thing is called a Birkin, which is a brand name, so it automatically is an advertisement, right? And because in our society, your consumerism gives you value, we want to show off our conservatism. Um, um, uh, the conservatism. I mean, the consumerism, right? It re illustrates. God, I'm having a mind blank here. It shows that their value is linked to consumerism, right? I was able to purchase this expensive bag from this company. Look at my value, okay? Which is weird She didn't make the bag. What does it reflect about her value apart from wealth? Okay. Doug, yeah, I got one in high school. The students have to overcome those cliques outside of school. That's fair, Doug. Again, Doug, you could be right. It's just my opinion, but good point, Doug. Okay. All right. Here's another again. So that is a sign of reflecting the values. Now, okay. How do I frame this? Obviously, who is this again? Is this a Kardashian or something? I don't even know. Who is that? I told you I'm horrible with pop culture. Okay. She's wearing a cross. She's wearing two crosses. So obviously we tend to put our um yeah, exactly, Meowzord. Like she has a cross, two crosses indicating her religious beliefs apparently. At the same time, all these gems, these shiny things, okay. And so again, fashion, religious beliefs, Kim Kardashian, thank you, SoCal. At the same time, these well, okay. This is just another example, okay, of our society's values counteracting. I don't know what else to say about this. I don't really want to talk too much about this. I don't want to come across as being misogynist. I'm not being misogynist, but how she is presenting these crosses is very interesting, right? It shows that she doesn't really care about the religious value of it. You see what I mean? Do you see where the crosses are? They're okay. My point being that has become part of fashion. It's not really a sign of her Christianity. It's just a fashion statement because those parts of um fashion sort of just exist, right? There's a lot of people I'm sure you know that wear crosses or have cross tattoos, even if they're not really Christian, I guess you could say. Um, and okay, I don't know Drusilla, but she has two. Yes, Meowzord. Yes, I did see that South Park. Okay, here's another example. Okay, Nicki Minaj had all about that bass, and Kim had all about that ass. Yeah, okay. Uh, these also, by the way, reinforce. I'm not saying that this is women's fault, but those sort of things reinforce the idea of women as something for men to look at. And I am not. I don't care. You can wear whatever you want, folks. I'm not demonizing like wearing clothing like that. I'm just saying these are things that are kind of reinforced. You rarely see men wearing revealing clothing, if you know what I mean, because they're not the ones in society that are meant to be objectified, according to our society, right? Anyway, so here on this page, you have two T-shirts. That is possible, Doug. Maybe one is an onk. Two T-shirts, especially in America, we love wearing T-shirts. And most of them are advertisements. We all know this, right? Like when you want, T-shirts oftentimes have ads on them, like this Miller Lite, or what is this? I don't know, yeah, Miller Lite, I think, and then a Marvel Comics thing. And we tend to present it as, well, we'll wear the things we like. Okay. Oh, hey, that's fair, Drusilla. That is fair. Okay, that is fair. Okay, that's a good point, Drusilla. Um, so here we got they don't, Mithril. Okay. So we sort of literally, as part of our fashion, wear advertisements, which is reflective of our society, which is dominated by corporations and the advertisements they do, right? And then we link those advertisements to ourselves. We say, well, this is part of my value, right? I like Marvel Comics, or I like Miller Lite. See, it's part of who I am. I'm simply displaying who I am, and what you're really displaying is a corporate ad, okay? Anyway, so it reflects the values of the society that we're in. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right, Doug. You're right. Okay. I'm way oversimplifying. Okay. All right, you guys. So that's that. That's my presentation here. Just a few things about clothing and culture. It should be noted too, folks, that well, all right. There is a creator, there is a content creator out there. It's been interesting. I'm not going to name names, obviously, but there's a content creator out there that really likes to wear very nice clothing. And this happened sort of recently. And this individual has done a lot of lawn streams on the clothing he has been purchasing and talking about what's fashionable and not. And it's really funny because I remember when this creator, who again I will not name, uh, who used to wear graphic tees and just like regular people clothing. And then as this person got wealthier and wealthier and wealthier, suddenly they are talking about how great fashion is, and they're wearing all kinds of very nice fashion and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with like, hey, you can obviously like you can wear what you want. I really don't give a shit. But it is funny how now that there is wealth there, this person has really started liking fashion and is constantly talking about it. Uh, and this thing SoCal, my Kennedy Center knockoff sash. This is actually from Peru. I like it because it's rainbow colored. A student of mine got it to a Peruvian student of mine brought it to me. I think it's like a native thing. They told me to wear it for good luck. Anyway, I'm not going to say who it is, Resident, but that proves the point, right? Like once you reach a new class, you suddenly have this opening to wear nicer clothing, and then it helps differentiate you from people who aren't at that class, right? Nothing wrong with liking clothing, okay? I like clothing. I do. I don't have many clothes, but I try to dress nicely, okay? But it isn't anyway. Okay, guys. So, I'm done with that. Let me take a drink of my You should, SoCal. It does have sentimental value, okay? You're totally right, Meowzord. And this is why I'm not talking about all the aspects of clothing. Clothing can also be an act of rebellion or an act of difference, an act of rebelling against society. Totally, Meowzord, which is an example, Meowzord, of repressive desublimation, right? A lot of times this rebellious clothing suddenly gets integrated into mainstream culture and becomes part of the capitalist system. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime too. So this is sort of more, I know I didn't talk about all aspects of clothing, but there's some aspects of clothing, okay? All right. Okay, guys. So now that we've done that, how's everyone doing out there? Everyone good? I'm just going to check my stream health, etc. Again, folks, if we get 2 more super chats, I will put on the Jester Caller. 2 more super chats and the Jester Caller. By the way, folks, I posted another video yesterday. Many of you have seen it because I filmed it on live stream. I posted that. What else we got here? What else we got here? Lee Lane, your daughter rebels by wearing her choice clothing to school. Hey, and good for her, Lee Lane. Good for her. So, okay. So in your group, vote to release the Epstein files was veto proof. Veto proof? What do you mean in your group? Because the Senate hasn't voted yet, right? So, I see what you mean. Enough people voted. That's good in your group. Now we'll see if the Senate passes it, and that if it is, see if the Senate is veto proof. Okay, guys. So, yay, that was fun, wasn't it? That was fun. Let's talk about. We got some other things I want to show you. Okay. First of all, I'm just watching this real fast.
In the virtue of
here.
this bill actually passing, then he wouldn't
Apparently
say
they're
that.
voting.
He would just say,
you know
what?
They did just vote
Forget
to
it.
release the
It
Epstein
doesn't
files
matter
in
to go through
Congress.
this process. I'm going to save everybody the time and energy. I'm just
And
going
it's
to tell
veto proof. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, it'll probably die. Oh yeah, SoCal, the federal court threw out the Texas redistricting maps. Excellent. That's great. Well, can they drop off after Trump? Okay.
Pam to release it, because Pam listens to anything and everything that I say when I send her my little edicts on Truth Social.
Here.
So
I did find
again, the whole thing
is
just a way. Like this is all just like a ruse. And anybody who thinks that Donald Trump is acting in good faith when he says that the House should release these files and that he'll be happy to sign it into law is ignoring.
Okay, so this is live. I just want to see what's going on in Congress really fast. Could be that is nothing really interesting is happening. They already voted, I believe, right? Did they already vote? I'm just double checking here, folks. Who was it that told me? So they already voted, right? In your groove. Clay Higgins was the only no vote. Elliot, fantastic. Gotcha. Thank you in your groove. So I just want to go back to, let's see, in your if they blah 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 blah. Let's stroke our egos. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna talk like I care. Blah blah blah. Ha ha ha. My friends are pedophiles. Ha ha ha. Okay. Yay. 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 All right. Suspend the rules and pass. I just want to see the vote when it happened. I know it already voted. Okay. So okay. Gotcha. Okay, so they've already voted. Let me then go to the other thing I wanted to show you real fast, guys. So this is going to be kind of a light thing real fast here. Where'd I put this thing? By the way, for those folks over on Twitch, please follow me or subscribe. You can subscribe for free using Amazon Prime, which would be very helpful for me. Sends me some of Jeff Bezos's money. Greatly appreciated if you do. Right. Where'd I put this thing? Da, 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 da.
Hey, it's Bennett from Cooking with Congress here, and I recently...
Okay, so let's watch this. This was someone, I don't know, someone posted this somewhere. I could be wrong. This is just sort of a palate cleanser, okay? Palate cleanser. Gotcha. Okay, this is a palate cleanser. This is like a 10-minute, 9-minute video. Thank you so much, Malzord. Thank you very much, Malzord. That is 2. So if you get one more, folks, thank you, Malzord. That if we get one more, we get, or if we get 100 more, if we get 100 more bits or one more super chat, I'll put on the collar. Here we got, this is just going to be kind of a fun, is mech suit clothing? I guess it could be, Malzord. I guess it could be, right? This is called Ken Burns Tries Yucky Revolutionary War Era Food. So Ken Burns is a documentary filmmaker who's done some pretty good documentaries about American history. And this is just a fun little thing where this guy who makes a lot of good food makes for him some, I don't even know who this guy is. Who is this guy? Do we know who this guy is? By the way, look, it says in the lower left-hand corner, you can barely see it. It says PBS SoCal. Ooh, SoCal. I didn't know you made this video. Okay. Brent Ray. Okay, Brent Ray. So Bennett Ray. So he's going to make some clothing, some food from the Revolutionary War era for Ken Burns to try. So I just thought this would be kind of fun. Maybe a little bit of a palate cleanser. Okay, let's watch.
Hey, it's Bennett from Cooking with Congress here, and I recently tried my hand at making some Revolutionary War era recipes to enjoy with the...
By the way, fun fact, lobster, SoCal, your name, it says SoCal, it says PBS SoCal in the lower right-hand corner. Back in the Revolutionary War times, lobster was considered like a poor person food, and they would give it to people in like prisons and stuff. And then over time, as we depopulated the lobsters and it became more scarce, it became a food for wealthier people. Yeah, I mean, how hard.
Ken Burns. I was thrilled. I was so excited to recreate these recipes in my kitchen, bring them for Ken and I to taste together, the good, the bad, and the dry.
That's okay.
It was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
Ken, thank you so much for sitting down and dining on some strange revolutionary recipes.
I'm looking forward to it.
This is onions Brazilian style.
Onions Brazilian style?
Brazilian style. What's Brazilian about it? Kind of nebulous, not sure. But this was served at George Washington's farewell dinner in 1783.
And he probably had to have some sort of soft food since his jaw was metal. And okay.
One of Washington's favorites. I'm curious, Washington, this mythic figure, this larger-than-life figure, a complex person, obviously. His favorite food is...
You're totally right, Doug. Lobsters are attracted to white, so they would just put them out and they would come right on in. You're totally right, Doug.
It's onions, so he had some layers. What? Yeah. What's the most misunderstood aspect about Washington?
Well, we tried to peel back the layers of the onion for him. Yeah. First of all, to understand, he's one of the richest men in America. He did really well before he married a wealthy widow.
Yeah, it kind of just looks like
Martha
a burnt onion.
He is, of course,
yeah, you're totally right,
an enslaver of other human beings. He is also the one person that without him, we would not have our country. He's very opaque and kind of unknowable and very difficult, but he's able to lead men into combat. He's politic.
Exactly,
he knows how to
Meowsword.
pick executive talent.
By the way, Meowsword's making a point here. It's actually a well-known thing in anthropology that a lot of times lower class people are typically much more creative than upper class people. That sounds strange, but most cultural creations and things like that come from the lower classes, not from the upper classes, because by virtue of being upper class, you're not as creative because you need to maintain the society as it is. So a lot of really interesting fashions and foods and things like that, most of them come from lower class people. Isn't that interesting? Okay. That might be why so many great forms of music in the United States come from working class people of color, things like that.
Mysteries wrapped in mysteries wrapped in mysteries about him. And because of that, there's a aura that develops about him, and he's able to effectively deal with Congress, to deal with other of the so-called founders, but also with ordinary people to inspire them, and to pick from the ranks somebody and give them an important task.
It took a couple of goes with this recipe.
Yep, Meowsword.
To get it right, I think.
Not bad.
It's not bad, right?
No.
It's kind of interesting. It's stuff with mincemeat. So it's just mincemeat.
Oh, it's mincemeat?
Which back in the day actually had suet in it. So there is meat to it. This is not a vegetarian dish. And then slow roasted, basically fried over the course of 45 minutes in a small onion like this. Now, I tried it with a big onion.
Oh, so there's meat on the inside of it. That doesn't sound bad.
First.
It needs to be smaller.
Much, much smaller.
Yeah.
Modern onions are massive.
Oh, that's good.
Next, we're going to try some fire cakes. Now, I heard that you're familiar with the idea of fire cakes. Yeah,
I am. Yeah.
Okay. So this is essentially wheat flour and water mixed together. If they had salt, the militia might be making these.
Do we have salt here?
No salt.
Great.
So this is kind of the toughest.
The amazing thing is that we won this revolution against the greatest empire, the most far-flung empire on earth, eating this and worse. I mean, when he dispatches Benedict.
Yeah, you're 100%, SoCal. You're 100%. Yeah, you're actually right, SoCal. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to say this. So this is what SoCal just said. It's also a misconception that the bottom of the totem pole is lower in regard to when it is lower regard when it is actually the elite that are at the bottom in Native history. You're right.
Yeah, this just looks like prison bread. Our film is a hero to the patriot.
By the way, it was common at the time that this hardtack or these kind of cake breads they would sometimes let worms infiltrate them, so they would have worms and things in them because that would add protein to them. I know that's gross, but hey.
Because through the snowy woods of Maine to meet up with the General Montgomery and lay siege to Quebec City in our first attempt at making Canada a state. It failed, by the way, miserably. They run out of provisions along the way because they thought it would be much shorter. And so they are at the end, they're eating the tallow in their candles. They are literally, it's like Charlie Chaplin.
Signal. And folks, we need to eat more insects. We do. We need to eat more insects. Insects are very widely available. It is very easy to reproduce insects. They're an excellent source of protein. We could mass produce insect. We could literally turn them into flour. We could grind them up and turn them into flour. I have eaten insects of various kinds. They, like, for example, crickets taste like almonds. Just grind them up. Use them. It's good for the environment to eat insects. It's not. Anyway, we need to eat more insects as a source of protein. That's all I'm saying. We have some weird cultural norms. I know. We have weird cultural norms in the U.S. and a lot of places in Europe where eating insects bad. And that partially goes back to the Bible, like a long history of, the Bible says you're not supposed to eat insects, essentially. But insects are great. And a lot of cultures eat insects of various kinds. There's nothing wrong with eating insects. And some of them taste really good. As a matter of fact, ants kind of have a citrusy taste. I've had them covered in chocolate. I've had them they're good. Anyway, so just a thought up there. Maybe, SoCal, but not after you cook them and eat them, though, right? Like in a lot of, yeah, exactly. Because meat. I know it's gross. Yeah, there you go, Lee Lane. And like the thing is, folks, is like if we keep doing mass, I'll stick to figs with their digested wasp parts. There you go in your groove. Like if we can't keep doing mass production like farming or cattle raising and stuff, that's horrible for the environment. But we could use more insect protein. That wouldn't be so bad. Okay. And by the way, folks, like if you just grind it up, it just looks like the flour, and it tastes kind of like almonds. It's kind of tasty, actually. Anyway, just a side note there. We need to eat more insects. You won't even have to know. I mean, we do that already, don't we? When you're eating a burger, you're not like, oh, I love this cow. I imagine it mooing. No, just don't imagine that you're eating a cricket, okay?
You know, boiling their shoes and the shoe leather. There's a dog that it belongs to an officer that suddenly disappears, but mainly you're subsiding on stuff like this.
How did they keep the military motivated?
I don't know. You know, I think that the superficial thing is to say they're motivated by cause. There's something else that's going on, and I think it's the relationship between people in the trenches. It's really hard to leave if your buddy's gonna, stay. And so, and vice versa. It really matters who's in the trench
Alyssa, I get
next to you, who's going up over the hill with you, despite the terrifying odds of not surviving. It's pretty interesting. And what they realized very early on is that all of the highfalutin talk isn't keeping people from leaving.
Lee Lane, how do grubs taste? I don't think I've ever had a grub. I have heard that they're kind of like custardy. How do they taste, Lee Lane?
When their enlistments are up, or leaving when there's a crop to be sowed or harvested. It's really, in the end, it's teenagers, it's ne'er-do-wells, it's second and third sons without a chance of an inheritance, it's felons hoping to get a parole, it's recent immigrants. That's who wins the war. And that's why the original idea
Did you hear that? It was immigrants who won the war.
Who was rebelling and who would be in charge had to be expanded in order to accommodate them. The only people who were going to vote originally were just people of property. Well, sort of an aristocracy.
Yeah, not even all men could vote, by the way. Not even all white people could vote. Women couldn't vote. Men without property couldn't vote. Yeah, no, I get it, Lee Lane. That's the one thing about grubs. I don't know if I could do that because of the texture.
An elite, we'd call it today. And the revolution has to be won by people who aren't part of the elite. And so then democracy comes in not as an object of the revolution, but as a consequence of it.
I think we can move on to the third dish, which is kind of going to have to be an unveiling.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, does that look English. Well, maybe the English people in chat can agree with me or not, but that looks so English to me. That square, baked square, like a mincemeat pie or something. I don't know what it is. Right, Louise? Right, Louise? Doesn't it look English though? It looks like something that was made in England. Okay, let's see.
Do we know what it is?
I have no idea. No, it's hearty choke pie. So
hearty choke pie?
Hearty choke pie. There you go, Louise. Pork pie.
Choke pie.
Shepherd's pie more Scotland, more England. I think this is a Scottish thing, right? I can't remember. I know haggis is like Scottish, right?
Artichoke pie.
As in
the Old English hearty choke.
Hearty choke, got it.
Combines into
Hearty choke pie.
This is the one that I have not tried yet.
This looks fantastic, though.
I worked very hard to get a coffin. This is called a coffin, or
Jesus.
a box.
Appropriate.
Wait. So it is hearty choke pie served in a coffin. That's funny. That's kind of great naming scheme for food. Meowsword, someone racist Twitter post saying no one named Zoran in the Revolutionary War, and someone replied with documentation that there absolutely were some Muslims fighting alongside the colonists. 100% Meowsword. That is hilarious, though.
For a war?
Appropriate for a war. And this was a recipe of Martha Washington's, included in her cookbook. And
yeah, but did she actually make it, or did her slaves make it?
And here's the grand reveal. Let's see.
That sounds good. That sounds really good, Louise.
Whoa. Didn't expect that. Looks like it came from the petrified forest.
What the hell
it looks
is it?
1,000 years old.
It does look 1,000 years old or more.
And you can, feel free to self-serve as much as you want since you seem hungry.
Is it really ladleable, or is it something that looks like we just...
More of a fork.
Yeah.
I brought the ladle just in case.
You don't eat the outside?
It's made with artichoke hearts as well.
Oh, it's literally artichoke pie. Okay, I'm a fool.
So green grape juice.
Right.
And then sugar,
I don't know about that.
Bone marrow, butter.
Sugar?
And it's a dessert.
Yeah.
It's a dessert?
I don't know.
Okay, this is like weirder and weirder.
Yes,
it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you said dessert, then it convinced me. But it's sweet.
I actually really like this.
What?
I'm so glad this turned out well. This is delicious.
This is really good. Hearty choke?
Hearty choke. Martha Washington kind of reminds me of how little I heard about women during the Revolution.
Well, this is a huge, big problem that we have Like, we just think that the revolution is just guys in Philadelphia thinking great thoughts and with some wigs and, you know, maybe Lexington. And
doesn't this make them all more heroic folks? The fact that they were eating this crap while trying to fight.
Concord, Bunker Hill, Trenton, and then Yorktown, it's over. Women are a huge part of this. They're part of the resistance leading up to the actual revolution, keeping the grievances alive, making homespun cloths, boycotting British goods, because they're the people who sort of run the households. And then they're following the armies if they're not back home running the businesses and the farms. And so it's really an extraordinary moment.
As a matter of fun fact here, though, so yeah, women were very important in the Revolutionary War effort. We actually have letters back and forth from John Adams and his wife Abigail arguing because she was saying women deserve more rights. He's like, yeah, we can't really do that, you know, and he was using some kind of condescending language. He's like, yeah, sweetheart, you know, we can't do that. And she got madder and madder, and then she started like yelling at him in the letters, saying that he's not considering the women. She made a joke about sending armed women down to the Continental Congress to set all the men straight because they weren't considering women. But at the same time, too, Abigail Adams was like huge into speculating with money, like selling money that was being devalued, and then buying less devalued money. So, like, anyway, she was also very good at manipulating the economy while her, anyway.
Abigail Adams even writes to her husband in complaint, like, you have to remember the ladies, you husbands have screwed things up for years and years, and your natural tendency is to be a tyrant. You got to remember us, and if you don't, we're going to foment a rebellion if we don't get representation.
Isn't that badass? I love Abigail Adams.
So they're hugely one of the great philosophers and historians of the Revolution. The first historian of the Revolution was a woman named Mercy Otis Warren. And we bring her to life with all these off-camera voices of, you know, really extraordinary stars. And in this case, we were able to get a little-known, up-and-coming actor named Meryl Streep to read it. Yeah, you know, you just pay attention.
I think one more.
Oh, wow.
This
one more.
Simply called A Cheap Dessert.
A cheap dessert instead of hearty choke. Which
was not, I mean, it was time expensive and time intensive, that's for sure.
Well, building the box itself alone.
It took a long time. Yeah, it's a
what is this?
8 to 10 overnight process, 8 to 12.
Was the box edible?
So a lot of boxes back then were not edible. That one technically would be, if they included eggs in the box building materials.
Griddle cake, got you, Meow's order.
I don't know how tasty it would be. You can certainly help yourself.
Anything's going to be better than the
fire cakes.
Than the fire cakes, right?
That is 100%.
Oh, of course, Mithril. Of course, Trump did. Trump defends. Mithril says Trump. This is a quote. Trump defends Saudi crown prince over killing of journalist as they hold talks in Washington. Of course, Mithril. Of course, he did. Right? That's like okay.
This is actually going to be pretty.
Because I've had shoe leather that was better than the fire cakes.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
Now that's your lid.
This is the top
here.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's just sad that he hasn't done it yet. Well, as far as we know.
Dessert
reflected that rationing that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Right. So it's made with hominy, cornmeal, butter, eggs.
We'll look at that
again,
after this is over, folks.
We've
got a few minutes. We'll be done.
Recipe showing that she was in solidarity with people from the war, serving something less.
This is what happened. Yeah.
Syllabub, right? I mean, I'm very biased, right? I think that when you're tasting food from this time period or any time period, to me, it's a touch point. It's a kind of experiential touch point to the history, another way to learn.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you, in the many years you spent on this project, was there any similarly experiential, evocative, like an artifact or a location or a smell
we're almost done here.
It was really evocative.
I'm a big map freak, so seeing all of the maps.
Oh, join the club. There's a subreddit on Reddit called Map Porn. If anyone is subscribed, if anyone's on Reddit, does it even exist anymore? I don't know. I think it does, but it's called Map Porn, and I'm part of it because I love maps.
So beautiful, the old ancient maps, and sometimes we just leave them alone. Other times we'd superimpose the arrows necessary to communicate what the battle stuff is going on, or use the maps as a starting off point to create our own maps that then do.
By the way, maps used to be considered classified information. Like governments would not share their maps because maps were very rare. And so they would, because you don't want your enemy to have a map of your territory. So maps were like considered top level covert information or classified information in governments. Like the maps of France would be closely hidden, very closely hidden by the French crown. Now, there would be some maps out there, but they were typically not very accurate on purpose. Maps were very important. Okay. Thank you very much, Matt Saigai. Okay, I'll put on my collar. Thank you, Matt Saigai. We'll continue this.
More things and have more dimensions. And so there are things like that. We saw recently the frontispiece, the page of Common Sense, Thomas Paine's very famous January of 1776 tract that's sort of the most famous pamphlet in America, we say, that basically moved people away from the idea that this is just a grievance between Englishmen into sort of suggesting that there might be bigger ideas that could be compelling people, that weren't just about, you promised us this, you didn't deliver this, you're not paying enough taxes, we've been defending you, all of the initial things that lead us towards revolution, but that they're bigger issues, like, for example, somebody who has his job merely by birth, that is to say, George the...
Because the American Revolution was also partially a revolt against feudalism. It was a sort of a capitalist revolt against feudalism. Same thing with the French Revolution. That's not talked about much in history classes. We always say it's about taxation without representation, about taxation with representation. Yeah, that's a part of it. But it was also American elites revolting against a feudalist system of power in order to establish a capitalist system of power. I'm oversimplifying. There's other reasons too.
Third. And Paine is a pretty democratic, pretty radical guy, and he comes in and they love him because everybody loves him because he writes so beautifully and he appeals to common people. But even Washington is impressed and says, they called it independency. It was on the table, but nobody was really seriously thinking we're going to break off and start a new country. But by that July, we've broken off and had a new country. And a good measure of it is geopolitics and how to position yourself to get French aid. But it's also that Thomas Paine is making it impossible to not think about the fact that having a king is...
Thomas Paine, the original OG, great guy.
Not a good thing. Having a monarch, having an authoritarian ruler is not what people are destined to live under.
Amazing. Got through so much. I wish we could talk for hours and eat less food.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This isn't the greatest thing.
It's not the greatest thing.
No.
It is, if there's one kind of word that I would use for much of the cooking.
It's yucky.
Dry.
Dry, yes. Yeah.
Dry. Ken, thank you so much for coming on.
Okay, that's it, folks. That was interesting. All those look gross. No, thank you. All right. So what else do we got today? What else do we got? So I'm going to look at the news real fast, make sure I'm not missing anything. You guys have been giving me some good updates about stuff going on, CNN. And then I'll do some Discord reactions because I haven't done it for a while. Yep, you're right. Wow, you're right. It really was only one person. Thank you for I think, was it in your group that told me that? Someone told me that. Only one person didn't vote to release the Epstein files. Clay Higgins. Okay. Oh, yeah. Trump defends Saudi crown prince. Let's see if there's a clip of that. Let's see a clip of that. Oh, I'm so sorry, Luke. I'm so sorry. Right, Mithril? I agree. You're right. You're a smart guy about capitalism and feudalism. Thomas Paine is super cool. Okay, let's just see what happened here.
We're putting our foot down to keep our feet up, like way up, with Lazy Boy.
We did lots of adulting today, and we deserve to do lots of nothing.
It's the Lazy Boy Black Friday sale. 0% interest for 48 months. This offer ends soon.
Oh, that's super interesting, Louise. I'll look into that. Okay, yeah, we get it. It's an ad.
Black Friday
of course,
sale
CNN is just, whatever. Okay. We don't need this either. Here we go. Oop.
You orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious.
By the way, very good job for this journalist.
Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office.
Yeah, in your group.
Why should Americans trust
you with?
And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news.
Oh,
one of the worst, one of the
okay.
worst in the business. But I'll answer your question. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him,
are you kidding me?
Things happen. But
He's saying that Jamal Khashoggi was like, well, It's okay that bin Salman cut him up into pieces and, murdered him brutally. He was a very controversial figure. Oh my God.
About it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Kristen, what stood out to you from this meeting?
Okay.
I mean, that moment about...
Imagine if, like, Hitler had been in that room and, like, a journalist had been like, so there have been reports that you're building these camps and people are disappearing into them and not coming out. And then FDR was like, well, those people, a lot of them, were controversial. And, don't embarrass our guest while he's sitting here. Like, okay. I don't see what they...
White House reporter Jamal Khashoggi was stunning. Just a reminder of what happened at the time. Not only did U.S. intelligence find that it was likely that the Crown Prince, who was sitting there next to President Trump, ordered or directed these agents to kill Khashoggi, this led to widespread backlash across the entire world. We saw businesses limiting the deals that they were doing with Saudi Arabia, limiting the work they were doing in that country. We saw other countries pulling away from Saudi Arabia. In fact, the Crown Prince had already been to the White House at that time. It's 2018. He had been there to see President Trump. He was not invited back at any time, seemingly because of
he hadn't paid enough money to Trump yet.
The U.S. intelligence community had made. Now you have President Trump saying that he knew nothing about it.
Wait, are you serious, Louise? So Louise says, did you realize that apparently in the plane interview we watched yesterday, the female journalist was told to be quiet, piggy, by Trump? Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Luke, that's really funny, by the way, for a pig to say that, isn't it? Okay. I didn't know that. Kind of reminds me of like Animal Farm. Anyway, because it's like a pig. Anyway, never mind. As in because Trump is the pig. Okay, Luke, thank you, Mithril. She's good. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that, Luke. I really am. So yeah, someone pulled the moment up and showed it. I didn't know that. You know what? I'll find it. Let me just finish watching this real fast and then I'll find that clip.
Also saying he's an incredible man. I'm proud of the job he's done. I'm proud of his record on human rights in particular. And then going on to almost blame this victim of a murder by saying that he was a controversial figure. And then, of course, as you noted, quote unquote, things happen. Again, just a reminder that Jamal Khashoggi was murdered. So it appears that that is what he is referring to when he says, quote, things
right,
happen.
Drusilla. Okay. Let me look that up. I didn't know about that.
Errands.
And folks, I know these are all kind of like superficial things, but I still think they're interesting. Let me see here. Trump. All right. Trump calls journalist piggy.
What did Jeffrey Epstein mean in his emails when he said you knew about the girls?
Mithril.
I know nothing about that. They would have announced that a long time ago. It's really, what did he mean when he spent all the time with Bill Clinton, with the president of Harvard, who you know?
What was he doing with Bill Clinton? What was Trump doing with Clinton?
Summers, Larry Summers, whatever his name is, and all of the other people that
Maybe that's why Trump is always pursing his lips. He's always like, maybe it's just sort of a reflex from good memories he's had.
Spent time with Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years. But he also saw a strike because I was president. So he dictated a couple of memos to himself. Give me a break. You got to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase.
But I thought it was all a hoax.
Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Go ahead.
Incriminating in the file, sir. Why acting as a...
Quiet, Piggy.
On Venezuela.
Oh my God, he did say piggy. Okay, well, I didn't hear that previously. Quiet piggy. Yeah, no, you're right in your groove, and I'm not. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, Drizella. I'm just trying to. I'm irritated with Trump, so then I turn toward low-hanging fruit. What can I say? Apparently, Trump likes hanging fruit too. But regardless, yeah, my apologies, Drizella. So it is, by the way, folks. I don't care what kind of things people like to do, if you know what I mean. It is not reflective of all of my views about any of that stuff, but it's just fun to criticize the hypocrites and to talk about gross things. Anyway, I am a jester after all, right? Okay. All right. So that is gross. At that point, right, Meowser? Like, so I want to. I don't know if I can say that on stream, Meowser, but I agree. I do remember the microphone incident, SoCal. I do. Well, you know what? Let's look at that real fast. Why not? Donald Trump. Does everyone remember this? Does everyone remember this? Donald. Oops. Yeah. And by the way, we don't really know yet if that is what's happened with Bill Clinton. We really don't know. But I love playing it up, even though it might not be true, because it's funny. Kind of like when we talk about J.D. Vance and his couch, which there's no evidence that actually ever happened. But you know, it's still fun to talk about. They lie, so why don't we make up some funny stuff about them too? It pisses them off. Okay, so Donald Trump microphone. Microphone. Is this the one? This looks like it. Okay. Just watch this, folks. Watch this.
Hello? I don't think so. Hello? Is that better? Is that better?
I think this is it.
That's terrible. Is that better back there? Was that yes or no?
Well, maybe not.
What crap. The only thing I asked for is a mic, but so.
Is this the one?
And here's the problem. I said, oh man, it's too.
There it is. There it is. Okay, watch. Watch. Here it is.
And
Just
here's
watch
the
this crap.
problem. I said, oh man, it's too low. I said, it's too low. So I had to go.
That's what.
Way too low.
I mean, not trying to make.
Way
not trying
too
to put
low.
an image
So
in
I
your head,
walk in, I
Drizella.
said, shit, there's nothing worse than I walk in like this, and I'm
in your groove.
Did you notice? I was bending over like this. Hello.
Okay.
And then everybody says, is there something wrong with his back? What the hell is wrong with that guy? They're saying he's cognitively impaired and physically impaired. There's something wrong with them all because I have guys that are stupid
brain dead
back there.
humor. Correct in your groove.
All right. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, right?
Okay. So again, kind of funny. But like, yeah, but you're right though. Like, why are people cheering for that? I don't know. Because I would guess the reason that if I were to take a serious approach to this, it would be because he's not acting like a normal politician. A lot of folks like Trump because he's not this standard politician. Like, can you imagine someone like Biden doing that? Or, I don't know, Hillary Clinton when she was running, or even George W. Bush. I can't even imagine George W. Bush. Like, they just like him because he's not what they normally expect. And they're sick of what they normally expect. But that, even if it's dumb as hell, right? He's like a living, what is it called? A living, what's the term? He's like a living, not sitcom, reality television show. Hello, thank you, Sammy Lammy, very much. I am way behind now, but hoping to catch up. Thank you very much, Sammy Lammy, for the 20. Okay, it's okay. But anyway, so yeah, no one else can get away with it, Alyssa, right? Can you imagine, like, even Republicans, can you imagine what would happen if, like, Ted Cruz were to do something like that? I don't know if he'd get away with that. Now, okay, like, it's bizarre how he can get away with these kind of weird things. Exactly in your groove. They see what they want to see, and there's like he's a worse. I can never pronounce that word. Blot. Yes, they see what they want to see, and it's like a lot of people are very angry in this country. A lot of people are sick of the establishment. He funnels that anger, and so they They're willing to see whatever they want rather than look at anyone in the establishment because they hate them so much. You're right, Druzilla. Yeah, remember when Obama wore that tan suit? I'll show you an image here. Obama once wore a tan suit. Exactly, Malzord, exactly. Tan suit. Okay. This called for people who are not American out there. Americans will not be surprised about this, but people who are not American might be surprised, though I doubt it. Obama once wore this suit. Okay. Obama wore this suit. Okay. And he looks good. It's a good suit. Who cares, right? First of all, why do we care, right? Why do we care? Why do we care? And immediately there was a massive explosion on the right wing screaming about Obama's tan suit and how, it's anti-American and how it is a disgrace to the office of the president of the United States. Probably, Drizzle, they were jealous. So, like, Obama does something as small, which isn't even a bad thing. Yeah, or when Michelle showed her shoulders, I remember that, Alyssa. And it's a horrible, bad thing, right? Because the thing is, folks, is that they don't like them. So it doesn't matter what they do. They'll find a reason to not like them, especially because they're black. Yes. Oh, my God, Malzor, don't even get me started. Malzor, right-wingers say dumb shit like, I can't believe we weren't racist until Obama brought back racism. Yeah, they still say that. There's a PragerU video I saw a while ago that said that Obama's presidency, and maybe I'll do a react to that sometime. Obama's presidency, rightly, Lane, Obama's presidency brought back racism and divided the country. So, I mean, like, what? Okay. Yeah, Malzord, this is actually a quote from that time. There's no way, I don't think, that any of us can excuse what the president did yesterday. I mean, you have the world watching, Peter King, right? Yep, now we have a full nudie first lady, right, Alyssa? So, it's because, folks, now, I am not fully of the opinion that now, this is debatable. I definitely don't have a monopoly on truth in this regard. I don't think that the only reason for Trump, or like even the main reason, was because of Obama's race. I just don't. I do, however, think that it is very indicative of the racism inherent in the right wing, obviously, that every little thing that Obama did was like the worst thing ever. Like the worst thing ever. People, for example, when Clinton was president, even though he is a Democrat, he's white, he got away with all kinds of stuff. The right wing wasn't complaining about it, at least not nearly as much. But as soon as a black man does it, it's crazy. Now, admittedly, that did partially contribute to the rise of Trump, the idea that we're losing our country, we had a black president. But like, okay, it's true that was the headline on the news here. Is that so, Drusilla? Okay, she's not even hot. So it's insane. We really do, guys. We live in like, why do you think I'm dressed like a jester? We're living in a clown show. Like it's a giant circus. It's really quite funny. I really wish if I were to get like an implant, I'd get like an implant in my arm of a stereo that just has the what's that song? The bump bump bum 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 bum, like playing wherever I went, because that's how it feels to live here. It's like you look around, oh, and here come the clowns, and oh, the elephants are coming in. Oh, look at the acrobats. By the way, don't use elephants. That's very sad. They're not treated well. But anyway, oh, and now we got a tiger coming out. Hey, okay, and you get like hit in the face with a peanut or something, and then a clown comes and scares your daughter because your daughter's afraid of clowns. Anyway, like it's like a living clown show, is it not? Right. And I wish we all would really start living like it's a clown show, you know? Don't treat, the entrance of gladiators. Thank you, Mauser. Like, we need to start acting like it's a joke. I know, does that mean it doesn't matter? No, I'm saying we should definitely keep resisting and stuff. But if we stop taking it seriously publicly, it'll make it even crazier, which will then make people embarrassed to engage in it, right? Like, okay. Anyway, like I'm not, it'd be funny if like everyone dressed like a clown, right? And like every day, that could be a way of protest. Everyone goes out as clowns and be like, hey, we're living in a circus. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, anyway, okay. And then also, then you might get people caught on camera who are being arrested, dressed like clowns and stuff. It would just be funny, in my opinion, which is partially what they're doing with the green frogs and things like that. Mm-hmm. In your groove, could you imagine that? Imagine, folks, if like all the White House reporters went in there, or at least all the liberal ones, all the left ones would go in there dressed like clowns, and like once in a while Trump is speaking, you suddenly hear like a burn it, because someone like presses one of those little red noses and makes a beeping noise and shit, and just like asks crazy questions. Like I'm not even joking here, right? Would not that be really funny and also a really good way of resisting? Okay. Anyway, so I kind of wish that anyway, that's like my secret desire is to see everyone start resisting by dressing like jesters and clowns. Anyway, all right, maybe we can start a clown cult where we all dress like clowns and go protest somewhere together. Okay. So what was I going to do now? What time is it? Okay. So let's, I'm going to find something else here to watch. I'm going to go to Discord and see what we got there. Thank you. Yes. Agreed. Nuisance Rebellion is fantastic. Yeah, exactly, Louise. A journalistic equivalent of Portland Frogs. You know, that maybe like, well, this would probably be assault, but you have like a little flower that squirts water. And like, when the politician lies, you suddenly squirt the water on their face. Like, that'd be kind of funny. Anyway, though I think that'd be assault. Okay. All right. Folks, if I ruled the world, we'd all be. I would crack down an authoritarian crackdown and make sure everyone dressed like clowns. Okay, just kidding. Okay, all right. Let me find something else for us to react to. I'm going to go to Discord and see what we got. All right, let me see here. We got 4 reacts here. By the way, folks, please join our Discord if you haven't already. You can post things. Let's watch. What's this one? This is Trump versus the BBC. Yucky revolutionary food. By the way, who sent me? Was that JDH? Thank you, JDH, for sending me the revolutionary food thing. We swatched the one by Druzilla. All right. Oh, I love that. Okay, I'm going to do this one here. This one looks like the perfect amount of time. Let's do this one. So this is...
It's one of those stories that was jaw-dropping even for me when I stumbled across it. And as I heard from the group of parents who joined us, most families have no idea that children are being targeted by adults who want to make them hate.
Well, I think we know that, don't we? Like, it kind of seems like... All right, let me just open this up. If I can get it to work here, where to go? So this is a video, says, meet the neo-Nazi targeting kids.
It's one of those stories that was jaw-dropping.
Okay, targeting kids online. Paste. All right, let's watch this.
It's one of those stories that was jaw.
Okay, so this is from 20 hours ago. I don't know what this is about. Came back at a weird time. Elevator lady, hey, elevator lady. Hello, Sir Bartholomew. Stubbly squirt ice agents with fat. That would be hilarious, Meow. See, I'm being dead serious, by the way, folks. Like, if we clownified the resistance or something, I feel like, and think about, and you often have to understand, folks, when you're doing a resistance movement, you have to consider the press. You want to attract attention. What would attract more social media attention than a bunch of clowns going out and constantly clowning people and like mocking, and like reporters dressed like clowns and shit like that? Like whoopee cushion revolts. I'm not even like, you're right, elevator lady. Like, anyway, that's my, it doesn't even have to be clowns. I'm okay with that. It can be something else too. That's like everyone dressed up like Pokemon or something. I don't know. I think clowns would be the best. I have a bias. Yeah, I know I'm a jester, but still, okay. Okay, let's watch this together. Thank you, Elevator Lady. Why do you think I'm called Casual Revolt, right? Why do you think I call myself Casual Revolt? It'd be like a very casual, you'd be out casually being a clown and revolting at the same time, okay? Exactly, Doug. Kilroy was here. Another historical example there. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's watch this. This is Phil Williams. Okay, I don't know. We'll watch this.
Dropping even for me when I stumbled across it. And as I heard from the group of parents who joined us, most families have no idea that children are being targeted by adults who want to make them hate.
I'm sorry. Okay, you got to admit that statement is funny. Parents had no idea that there were children being targeted by adults to make them want to hate. Isn't that like the entire Trump administration and like half of the internet? I'm just saying. You're right, Doug. This guy is great. I know I'm being a bit. It's just a funny statement, right? Because we all know, like, that half of the internet is trying to target kids and make them want to hate. Anyway, okay. Oh my God, I didn't know this was about Stephen Miller.
For most parents, it's a hate that seems worlds away.
Oh my God, bro. You are a Jewish science experiment, bro.
But this hate is targeting your children.
Look at this Aryan Chad. Gonna hunt you down.
Targeting.
Wow, is that legal? Okay.
Them.
Yeah, boy! Yeah! Let's
I know, Doug, I know. I love this guy. I've seen him before.
go!
Inside their own bedrooms.
These young man! Woo! White power!
The man behind
Jesus
the videos.
Christ.
You have a problem with Jews in general, though.
Yes, I do.
Is John Menadio, the same need.
By the way, look at this, the color of all of his stuff, black, white, and red, which I think we all know that is the color of the Nazi flag, right? Okay, he just loves the black, white, and red colors. It says pro-white, pro-white. Look how big his arms are and crap. Definitely compensating for something here. I don't know. Yeah, his mic is big Nazi energy, right? Look at this. Look how close it is to his mouth. Anyway, they all have these weird red glasses on too. I don't know what that's, but they're all coordinating because Nazis like want to. Alyssa called me a fascist earlier, but Nazis want to get rid of individuality, so they have to all wear the same clothing, as we said before. Yep, you're right. The order, Trump failed. Okay.
Nazi we had confronted outside City Hall.
Hitler was right!
His group, the Goyim Defense League, created scenes like
Goyim Defense League, hilarious. That mask guy makes no sense, right, Sir Bartholomew?
like this on the streets of Nashville in the
They're cowards, right?
summer of
Cowards, Sir Bartholomew.
2024.
I know what would happen if they met you on the streets, Sir Bartholomew.
Yeah! Oh! Here we go.
Even assaulting
yeah,
a
look
young
at this.
Jewish man in the dark of night.
What? Someone better be in prison. Not a fan of prisons, but someone better be in prison for that. Okay.
All I know is I heard gunshot and I just ran out running. Yes, it was inside the school.
When a school shooting at Nashville's Antioch High School earlier this year left one student dead, another injured, the 17-year-old shooter left behind a manifesto that indicated he had been influenced at least partly by Menadio's
I did, you're a smart guy. I did. It's very good.
hateful propaganda.
So what I do is I'm an
Sir
entertainer,
Bartholomew.
entertainer.
Sir Bartholomew, I would not mind for neo-Nazis convicted of crimes. I feel like they shouldn't send them to prison. They should just send them to a walled compound where it's just you sitting in there, and you just take the Nazi, you put him in a chair, and tie him to the chair, and then leave you in the room with them for 20 minutes. That'd be okay with that. Anyway. Because they're gonna play chess, right? I'm not implying violence. I'm just saying they're gonna play chess. Okay, that'd be a good punishment.
I hate non-whites. Okay.
Live streaming from his own racist website after being repeatedly banned from mainstream platforms, the Springfield, Missouri man makes money from other white supremacists who pay to cheer him on.
Hey,
You're
what's
right,
up? How are you?
Meowswood. So right, Sir Bartholomew.
How old are you?
I'm too old to be on this, but I'm warning women like you to stay away from these filthy.
What the? Okay, I appreciate that girl though. That was a great reaction, like just laughing. That's a way to do it. I'm sure these guys, these incels and stuff, love hate being laughed at, especially by a woman.
As he goes into roulette-style video chat rooms.
How old are you?
I'm 12, about to be 13.
Where he often encounters children.
How are you?
So, yeah, how are you?
Good, man. How old are you?
10.
Awesome, man. Do you like...
What?
Good.
I'm sorry. I don't even know what he's saying. Obviously, don't say it in chat. Like, I don't know what word he's using there. I'm guessing it's something for Jews. I don't know.
Job. Yeah, white power to this.
We asked a group
Oh, that's probably right, Meowzord. Okay.
of parents to watch some of the clips with us to help us process what we were seeing.
Oh, that poor kid.
Yeah! Don't get too shot, boy! Yeah! These
Is that legal? Is he allowed to, like, brandish a weapon?
How Manadio's theatrics, including use of filters to change his appearance, have made him a celebrity among some kids, while others...
You be proud to be white and we're going to bury you.
Stop just to take in his shocking displays of cruelty.
Well, listen, I was planning on shooting up like a black skull.
Here.
Oh, my God. I can't. That is disgusting. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. This makes me, I know I sound China pilled here, but this makes me want to crack down on free speech. Okay. I'm just saying, I'm just saying at this very moment, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just excuse me. I shouldn't say that. Let's just make this illegal because Jesus Christ.
These young girls try to talk him out of the mass murder of innocent black children. While these young boys can bear.
Have you noticed, though, Meowzord, how, again, I know I always go down this route, but how a lot of these neo-Nazis and, like, far-right people love, for example, like Steven Crowder, love doing drag, and they love pretending to be gay? I don't know, guys. It's kind of weird how they like pretending to be gay and like dressing in drag all the time, right? Like, all the time. All the time. They also like to hang out with men. Right, you're a smart guy. They also like to hang out with men in groups alone and do sports activities. I'm just saying, okay, it's funny. Yes, pretending to be gay is fun unless you hate yourself. Correct. Correct, Meowzord. Okay.
Barely contain their amusement over his overt racism.
More of this.
First reaction?
So sad.
Sickening.
Yeah, it's sickening. But I can't believe that guy's whole thing is engaging with kids like that. That's just so pathetic.
Yo,
Hey, whoa. I thought there's in your house.
Get the ball.
Then there are the guns.
Is it real?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Can you shoot something?
No, I can't, but it's real.
Exactly, Doug. Exactly. Right now, that's obvious. Okay, folks, I'm just making a joke here. Like, obviously, I don't know if they're gay. It doesn't matter. But I'm just trying to. I'm trying to present a different image of them than they would like. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna go kill for Charlie Kirk.
Will you take me with you?
And when he picks up that AR,
I know you're a smart guy. I know.
And he's putting it in the sky. Again, there's another kind of
excitement, enthusiasm of, oh my God,
It's like
wild.
What I hear you saying is the gun is used as the hook to sell the hate.
Absolutely.
Is your dad in your life?
Here, Manadio tries to befriend a 12-year-old girl whose dad had died.
That's also so predatory.
Yes.
To ask, where's your dad? Like he's looking for the vulnerable kids. They're going to be looking for this.
Like a groomer. Meowzord earlier said that this is almost more dangerous than like people who are sexually grooming children. I mean, yes and no. But this is a point here, right? Like he's using the same tactics as a groomer would use. Oh, I know, Alyssa. Oh, we know, right? Manadio has 3 neo-Nazi tattoos: a Totenkopf on his arm, SS bolts on his torso, and a great, love that, Meowzord. I'm not surprised. That's great.
Strong male influence, and here he comes in with his big, strong gun.
Absolutely.
And telling her dating advice and all of that. Like, that's just
like instant to grooming, right? Like he found his way in, and
we need more kids like you on this website because we got to be pushing this white power. Okay.
And once he's made the connection, the neo-Nazi tries to get the white kids to come to his websites and become followers.
Read that for me. The headline.
Every single aspect of the media is Jewish.
I have one of those flyers on my desk at work. When they, in the Going Defense League, were in town last summer, they were distributing those pamphlets. That's what they were throwing on people's yards in the Jewish parts of town.
All of those are Jewish?
Yeah.
He should have been Meowsword. He should have been arrested. I'm glad to hear that, Meowsword. This is why maybe we should do something like that here. I'm just saying. He wore a swastika to Auschwitz and was arrested in Poland. Real shame to hear that.
Yeah. Fox is Jewish?
Yes.
Yes. Comcast?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
How does it
I don't think that girl was being serious. I could tell she is kind of exaggerating, but still,
feel to see
I kind of appreciate it.
kids embracing his lies?
No, it's terrible.
I
Because
know,
the guns,
I
the
know.
racism, all those things are just props. So that once he gets them in, it's like, all right, now let's get to the good stuff, hating the Jews.
Look at me, boy.
Jesus.
Listen, I got something for you, little Holocaust survivor. Come get
What the?
come survive this.
And when Minadio encounters
I don't understand how that's legal. He's threatening the kid, right?
children who are not white,
Here's what it's going to come down to, okay? In all honesty, okay? You people are a bioweapon, okay?
the Goyim Defense League leader can be unbelievably cruel,
No.
You look like an ugly
mocking a biracial teen.
Oh, but you look like you're part. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Man, that sucks, bro.
Calling him a Jewish science experiment. Eventually using a monkey doll
Oh my God.
Okay. Oh my God. I'm having trouble watching some of this.
to
Jesus.
act out the murder of a black baby. For Miriam Abulfazli, it was just too much to
Yep. Nope. We need to crack down on free speech. This is insane. This guy should be in prison. I don't care.
take.
Sorry.
It's evil.
You think about those that are being spewed hate on a platform like this, and even the biracial child was not willing to accept a part of him because he's like, I have this person in front of me that's telling me it's wrong. I have to believe it's
And he
wrong.
calls him sir.
I know, that's what I caught. Yeah, he said
He
internalized that like that.
Like it just
Like
was,
that.
he didn't even flinch.
He was so vulnerable. He was so vulnerable
Jesus
because it was
Christ.
somewhere else in him. It was somewhere else around him. And that man just dug that hole deeper and filled it with his hate.
For this group of parents, it was a troubling reminder of the Antioch High School shooter who had somehow come to hate his own skin.
That kid was
That's so
taught to
sad.
hate himself and to hate others and killed them.
Yep.
Is
You're
it
right,
fair to-
Doug. Admittedly, Doug, you're totally right. Doug says, all right, Sir Bartholomew. I don't know if you want to come over here, though, Sir Bartholomew, okay? Like, for your safety, I mean, for the sake of your joy, maybe avoid the United States, Bartholomew, but I get it, though, Bartholomew. We'll send them to you. How about that? Doug on the left, we're spewed hatred like this from the, well, maybe you don't want that either, Sir Bartholomew. We're spewed hatred like this from the highest levels of power in the country. You're totally right, Doug. I get, that's an interesting point, Doug. Like, I probably shouldn't be so surprised by this because it's being spewed from the highest levels of the country, but it's more subtle, right? So it's more acceptable. But when people are blunt about it, or say things that we know others would say if they felt that they could get away with it, it's more shocking, even though it's basically the same thing. Right, Doug. In your groove, where are the people that claimed CRT was teaching kids to hate their own skin? Yep, in your groove. That is a really good point. I didn't even think of that in your groove. That's a very good point.
Call this child abuse.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, God,
Absolutely.
Now listen, you guys got to start playing with guns, okay? Joysticks. Joysticks are for
Adding
It is, Meowsword. It is a race to the bottom. Meowsword, you're on fire today. The internet is becoming a collective, and so is in your groove, by the way. A collective repressed feral mind. Yeah, a race to the bottom. Yep. When you create distance and anonymity, it allows people to act out things that they would not normally do if there were social repercussions for it. So the internet has enabled a lot of people to say and do and reinforce the horrible things they believe without any repercussions, which has just made it worse.
the horror, Minadio encourages the kids to get guns and prepare themselves to become killers.
All right, so you know what that means?
Yeah, you know who the terrorists actually are, though? Antifa. Right? That's the real threat here. Antifa.
It's time to strap up and get ready for a complete race war. So here's what's coming, guys. Race war. White power, lead. Okay?
I know, Matt Saigai.
White power, lock and load. Okay? You need to be at the shooting range. Get ready to kill.
For Sarah Shoop Newman, it brought back memories of the deadly
Oh my God.
day at Nashville.
Like, seriously, guys, watching stuff like this makes me want to start promoting certain groups to arm themselves more. I am not a fan of guns, but there might be some groups in this country who might want to consider arming themselves because it looks like they're coming for you. Like, literally, he's promoting it. He's saying it out loud that you each need to arm yourselves and go after this group or that group. And I also think women should arm themselves. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that guns are so readily available, but unfortunately they have guns and they're not going to not have them. I don't know. Okay.
Covenant School when a shooter roamed the
You're
halls
right.
of her child's school.
There are non-lethal tasers as well. That might even be better, Males, or at least maybe some sort of pepper spray type thing. Yeah, right, SoCal.
It's just utter depravity. I think about the evil that walked through the halls those days, and you can't comprehend it. You can't try to figure out why, and he's breeding it.
Lock and load!
Lock and load on the toad!
Oh, my God.
There you go.
And Manadio cheered on this teen, pretending he was shooting black people. Then the...
See, again, this country. Why does that teen even have access to a high-powered rifle like that? I think it's high-powered. I'm not an expert on these things. But, like, doesn't this underline another big problem here? Like, why the hell? Where's that kid's parents or guardians that they're letting him play around with a high-powered rifle with a scope on it? What the hell are we doing? I am going to lose my goddamn mind. It's like a nightmare, right? I said it was a clown show, but boy, is it turning into a Pennywise moment, isn't it? Like from It, okay.
Neo-Nazi mocked the tears of a grieving black parent.
A mother crying.
No, I agree, sir.
Because their child has been taken. That's a pain that man will never understand.
Amber Posey lost her own daughter, Ashante, 5 years ago to gun violence.
Hearing him attempt and mimic or mock crying set me back to April the 9th of 2020 when I let out my own screams with my child.
I know, Sir Bartholomew. I know, right? Of course, you know that. I hope you know that teen I was referring to was being manipulated. Was talking about shooting. Yeah, hey, Sir Bartholomew, I got you. I know, right? Of course, you know, Sir Bartholomew. There's things I can't show on camera, but yeah, I understand, Sir Bartholomew.
When I had to tell her friends, her AAU coach, her siblings, call her grandmother, her great grandfather, and say that their grandchild had been murdered, the first murdered victim in our family, and you make a mockery of that for clickbait?
Yeah.
That's not okay. That's not okay.
I can't escape the financial factor. I can't.
And the people were giving it when like the worst parts came
that's
up.
why he does it. It's so clear to me.
Boom! Go feed it, right?
Really,
Stop
Alyssa?
giving them money. Feed them bullets.
In these videos,
Oh my
these people
God.
see a man with...
But like, honestly, folks, isn't that like the perfect description of America? Don't feed them food, feed them bullets. Like that. Like we don't have free school lunches. There are people who barely have access to food. We cut off food stamps. People are poor, living paycheck to paycheck. But there's bullets and guns everywhere, and shootings every goddamn day. Bullets definitely seem to be in high supply. Food doesn't seem to be such in high supply. Admittedly, if the guy said one thing correct, it might be that one. Okay. Anyway, insane. Louise, why does whatever payment platform in your group? That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Does he keep maybe using new accounts in your group? I'm not trying to defend. I don't know, but that's a really good point. I tried to get my kid to play with guns, but he's uninterested. I hope not, Doug. I mean, it's okay if you want to like teach the kid to have guns later, but okay. I mean, but you can raise your child however you want, Doug. I'm just saying. All right, let them eat bullets would definitely be a Republican nominee slogan. 100% so, Cal, 100%.
Willing to take advantage of innocent young children for the payouts from his sick followers who thrive on that hate.
I'm all for free speech.
That's not
That's
speech.
not.
Of course, Doug, if it's like a teenager or something, I mean, it's not the, I don't know. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter.
This is a Those crime. Are
This
threats.
Though even then, well, I don't want to talk about it.
Exploitation of minors. Those are actual threats.
Yes.
Let's go kill him, bro. Let's go kill him.
Hunting season. Woo! All right, brother, you're getting it. How old are you?
Jesus Christ.
John Manadio responded to my questions in a chat on X, insisting that he is not the problem. He said no one under the age of 18 is supposed to be on these video chat apps saying, and these are his words, you should blame their parents.
No, I understand.
Obviously, that's no excuse for his own conduct. He also said he offers a disclaimer on his podcast that he does this, quote, for entertainment purposes only, and that he disavows any violence. Of course, that's not something he tells any of the children.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Doug.
I feel like many parents are watching this and asking, what app is he using?
Yeah, that's probably the most important takeaway we can bring tonight. The main one is something called OME TV, although there are others. One is called Monkey. I checked them out, and there are a lot of kids that parents really need to check their children's electronics tonight. From what I saw, this is not any place that any child should ever be.
Yeah. And despite everything we just saw, you found that it appears he's still not doing anything illegal?
Not that we can tell at all.
Look at this guy's face. Yeah, I'm sorry. I appreciate this guy and this woman. Look at her face. Like, he's not doing anything illegal. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, come on. There has to be something we can get him on.
Unbelievable.
Look at her. Wow.
All right, we know you're going to stay on top of this story, Phil. A really important one. As we mentioned, this is part of Phil's ongoing Confronting Hate investigation.
Amazing. I love that. It's a great guy. Okay. I'm going to put my face back up here, folks. Okay. All right. So, when it comes to guns, folks, we have a big problem, right? I think we all know this. And here's the issue, right? If everyone here knows the phrase arms race, right? We have created a situation in the United States where there's constantly an arms race going on because such a large number of people have guns. That makes people afraid of people with guns so that they want to get guns, which then increases the number of guns, which then increases the fear and causes more people to get guns. And then you get people getting afraid of people having bigger guns than them. So then they get bigger guns so that they can outshoot the ones who have the guns that are bigger. And suddenly, like, having the handgun now isn't enough. You need an assault rifle. And then the assault rifle might not be enough. So you get an RPG. Okay, I'm exaggerating there at the end. Maybe only a little bit. But like, and that's the thing, right? Like, hunting, people hunt with guns and things like that, and it is important, obviously, to learn. I have no problem with people having guns for hunting and things like that. I do want people to have exactly Malzord, and that's what's happening in the United States, right? You're right in your group. They did lie about the Second Amendment. The thing is for those out there that do have guns, all right, and are responsible with them, all right, who either get training on how to use them or are deeply responsible and safe with them. I know people like that exist. I do get frustrated, though, with the defensiveness of people who are responsible with guns when we talk about gun control. Because do you think that everyone else out there is responsible with guns? It is okay. I'm glad that you're responsible with guns, but that does not mean everyone will be responsible with guns. And maybe we just need a lot more regulations on that, okay? Because we can't really afford to say, well, there's some people who are responsible with guns, therefore we should be okay with anyone. We shouldn't do anything to regulate guns. Like, human beings are human beings. There's a reason why there's so many gun deaths in the country, because they're so easy to get. Someone who's not responsible can easily get one. And then automatically there will be some people who want to do violence to others. And with the number of guns and the ease of access, someone's going to get a gun and someone's going to use it in an inappropriate way. And not only that, the greatest number of guns the greatest number of gun deaths is people using them on themselves, which is rarely talked about, which is an unescapable way of doing that. You can't really get cured after that. You see what I mean? And as we have these high power guns, more people get high powered guns, and eventually you're going to get more people who have high powered guns. Many of them won't abuse them responsibly. I mean, look at what we just saw there. We just saw a teenager with a gun with no parental supervision. Okay, you see what I mean? Like, it drives me insane. I don't understand how we've come to the point where we're okay with just like all of this being out there and feel perfectly safe in that situation. Yeah, you're exactly Louise. Louise, not an American, from the UK, and even she knows that the right to bear arms was from 250 years ago and was for flintlock muskets, not assault rifles. Okay, you're right, Lee Lane. Gun culture is out of control. Like and there are responsible gun users out there, but but anyway, I don't. Anyway, okay. Like, you guys hear stories in the media, right, of like toddlers who get hands on their parents' weapons and end up offing themselves to their parent accidentally. I've heard multiple stories like that. Like, what are we doing where that can just happen so frequently? Okay. And like, we have this idea of personal responsibility in this country, but human beings are not. A lot of human beings just aren't that responsible. It's just nature of things, okay? Human beings make mistakes. Even if you intend to be really safe with the gun, you can make a mistake. So the more that are out there, okay. Anyway, I'm off my high horse. You have to understand, folks, too, I'm a teacher. I am very sick of being afraid when I was teaching, okay? Very sick of it. Australia had in your groove, Australia had a huge mass shooting. They changed the law and would, okay. Yep, I remember that student who killed that teacher. I'm just going to read here what In Your Groove said here. Australia had a huge mass shooting. They changed the law, and would you guess what happened? They didn't have a repeat. Shocking In Your Groove. Shocking In Your Groove. Who would have thought that if you, okay. Remember the kid, yep, Matt Sai, okay. Understandable, Matt Saigai, especially from not being from the U.S. I understand why you feel that way. Like a lot of other people from other countries think it's insane what we do with guns here. Okay. Oh, absolutely, Sir Bartholomew. You're absolutely right. Okay. And I do partially agree with the notion that the government can use guns on you. So I understand the feeling. Okay. I understand the feeling of wanting to be armed in case of a government overreach. I understand that feeling. But again, that law was originally intended for flintlock muskets, which aren't very accurate and have to be used in mass to be effective. And now that we have assault rifles and things like that, having everyone with an assault rifle ain't good. Okay. There's more guns than people in this country. Right, Meowzord. I love that argument. If you take away their guns, they'll just use knives. Okay, and you know what? I've always loved to say this, Meowzord. You know that phrase that guns don't kill people, people kill people? I agree. It is the people that kill people. But you know what really helps kill people? Guns. Okay, guns. So yeah, people kill people, but the guns help, and we certainly make it a lot easier to kill people with the guns. You're not going to be able to go, imagine, like in the UK, there are a lot of mass stabbings. Imagine if those were mass shootings instead. I suspect there'd be a lot more victims and a lot more death from those than if it was just a knife. Okay. Guns are made to be deadly. Okay, well, there you go In Your Groove, right? That's fair, but I guess the argument I have here being, the guns help. Yeah, hey, and there are like, what is it called, Alyssa? It's like a, yeah, they're like, yeah. So I understand, especially in the U.S. too, there are people who live in rural areas and things like that, who need guns for wild animals and things like that. Like I have no problem with like hunting rifles, things like that, that are not that are highly regulated, and not used by children, and there's a culture surrounding them. There's a culture surrounding them of, anyone can use it, who cares? Okay, to prove how much of a Second Amendment supporter I am, let people have all the guns they want. Just outlaw the bullets instead. There you go, SoCal. To be honest, I can't believe assault rifles are available to the public, but no issues with rifles and pistols. Hey, I understand, Outer Signal. I understand. I don't think anything should be so widely available to the public. I guess at this point, there are so many guns out there, especially so many. Yeah, it's Sir Bartholomew, and by the way, a lot of folks, a lot of times, yeah, a lot of times guns, like there's a stat out there somewhere. Don't quote me on this. It may be different from now. Like hunters and farmers who own guns, typically they're not misused as much. I can't remember where I read this. Don't take that for granted. But like if you do use it like in a rural setting because of wild animals or whatever, typically those aren't misused as much. There's not as many deaths from them and stuff. But people who have them for protection, actually, who claim to have them for protection, typically misuse them more, which is strange, right? Anyway, okay, they pose in Christmas cards with guns. Yep. Do you all remember that, folks? Did you guys literally? Do you remember that? I'm gonna find it. Pose in with guns for the with guns in Christmas photo. And I know that was about neo-Nazis, but here it is. Jesus Christ. Do we all remember this? These politicians who posed with this? This is Thomas Massey, a Republican politician. He decided to do a Christmas photo with his family. This is the Christmas photo they did. Do we remember this? Look at that. They decided to do a group pose. Yeah, with all these assault rifles as a nice happy family. I don't like this. It blows my mind. Like, what do we do? Like the fact that this wasn't automatically disqualifying. Because in this, as Lee Lane said, we have a big issue in this country with gun culture, right? Like, again, I'm not pointing the finger at anyone in particular that own guns. I know there are people here that own guns and use them responsibly. But like, this is a problem, right? This is a problem. That this is okay, and that this wasn't career ending, not only for him, but for anyone in his family with a job. I just don't. Okay. Like, what is the point? What is the point? And by the way, look at these. This right here is a heavy machine gun down here, right? She has a ton. Anyway, you're right. You're right. We do have that. It's just creepy, right? It's very creepy. Okay. And then we also had Republican ads. By the way, if you're in the military, I'm not even joking. If you're in the military, has anyone here a veteran? Tell me if I'm wrong, but if you're in the military and you're in training, like basic training and stuff, they really, really push gun safety. Like, really, like you better keep that gun pointed down. You better make sure you're not doing you're not crossfiring, you're not like firing at each other. You better keep that gun pointed down. Like people in the military get so much training on with safety of their weapons, even though they are the ones who are trained to go and kill people. Why do we allow civilians who aren't even trained to kill people to not get training and have a bunch of firearms? I don't understand. What was the name of the what was that one thing that happened? The gun. Oh yes. Political ad. Gun. Yeah, I didn't mention them for a reason there, Alyssa. Although cops do get some training there too. I don't think it's enough in my opinion. Here it is. This is from the BBC.
If you've been watching TV in America,
let's just watch this real fast.
that I grew up in.
I know I'm on a rant here. I'm
TV
just in a bad mood because of watching that.
You won't have been able to
watch this fast, okay?
Escape things like this.
You just might need that semi-automatic.
Dolly wants to roll back abortion rights.
Republican ads featuring guns.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, I agree, Alyssa.
Smith and Wilson 38.
Like, why can't we have full background checks and mandatory training classes? Yeah.
Explosions. And more guns. And from Democrats, you'll have seen a lot of this.
The Supreme Court has taken away a woman's most fundamental freedom, control over her own body.
Same election cycle, very different focus.
So,
Republicans believe that putting guns in ads shows they support the Second Amendment. But more than that, it proves their conservative values.
My father taught me how to handle my first gun.
Matt Saigai, impossible. I gotta tell you, Matt Saigai, it's impossible. We need different solutions. If we cannot remove guns altogether, Matt Saigai. There are way too many of them in the United States. It would literally be impossible unless we're talking hundreds of years in the future. But I get that, Matt Saigai, I do.
I taught my son Oliver how to do the same. I've been shooting and hunting my whole life.
And look at how this candidate ties gun ownership to...
I got to tell you, Matt Saigai, you have to understand one of the reasons why the American War of Independence broke out, just to show you how obsessed even early Americans were with guns, was because the British tried to take their weapons from them. They marched on Concord, which had a store of firearms and powder, which really pissed off the colonists. And that, I suspect, Matt Saigai, if the government were, in fact, to try and take people's guns away, that would probably spark a civil war in itself. Literally, I would not be surprised at all if that happened.
Individual freedom.
And I approve this message, because without gun rights, before long, you have no rights.
While there's no real chance of Americans losing their gun rights anytime soon...
Matt Saigai, I'm sorry, what did they say about socialism and communism? You're right, Outer Signal. Switzerland is heavily armed. Everyone basically has to own a weapon because a lot of them serve in the military, or not all of them. I think they're all required to, but they're all very well trained in them. There are all these safety regulations for owning these weapons. They're sort of required to own them because they have to go serve in the military. But they don't have nearly the problem as we do here, right, Outer Signal? I mean, this is compounded by the fact, folks, that we have a badly funded healthcare system, including mental health care, the drug addiction, like all these problems coming together on top of the glorification of violence. Okay. What do you mean? Oh, sorry, Matt Saigai, did I say this? What do you mean by that's what they said about socialism and communism? In what way? I know, elevated lady. That's why I'm like, this is complicated because I also get the need, especially recently, of being armed in order to resist. You know what I mean, elevator lady. Yeah.
Suggesting they might can motivate Republicans to go to the polls. And when it comes to Democrats trying to motivate Democrats...
Yeah, Matt Saigai. And let me tell you, Matt Saigai, you're right. That socialism and communism is not practical, never going to happen. You're living in a utopia. And what happened almost everywhere, Matt Saigai, where socialist and communist attempted to take over? Mass violence, mass death, literally. And I suspect, Matt Saigai, that I don't want to cause a mass civil war here. And that's, by the way, I still think these are different things. I don't think we can compare socialism and communism to a gun-free society. Because also, Matt Saigai, for example, how would you get a socialist or communist society without guns? Anyway, this is complicated, but yeah.
Stay forward. August 25th.
Women all across Texas are no longer free
to make decisions about our own body.
The number one focus of Democratic ads has been abortion, specifically highlighting the idea that more elected Republicans means less abortion access.
We should be putting pregnant women at ease, not putting their lives at risk.
So, Republicans play on the fear of losing gun rights and the freedoms that come with those rights. Democrats hone in on a different fear and the loss of another right.
I have a warrant for your arrest.
Arrest for what?
Penal Code 243 violation. Unlawful termination of a pregnancy.
Ads also reflect the news, so with inflation rising, Republicans have targeted the economy and immigration.
I wanted to see more. I thought there would be more stuff about guns here. Jesus. Okay, well, that wasn't exactly what I wanted, but you get the idea here. Like, all the guns in the ads is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. Okay, guys. I'm going to put my face back up here. All right, so... all right. So... Right. Also, one other thing I forgot to mention. Who said that? Oh, yeah, Matt Saigai. Oh, yeah, I already answered that. Never mind. Oh, one other thing too, Matt Saigai. We have to live here. Like, how do I say this? Like, the Americans in chat, we have to live here. And I will say, Matt Saigai, if the government were to try to take people's guns here, like, by force, the right wing would... okay. Oh, I know. Oh, I know, Matt Saigai. And what has happened, by the way, to the communists in India? And by the way, Matt Saigai, you know I'm a socialist. I'm not saying I don't want these things, but we are, yeah, but this is different. Again, though, I feel like these are different examples, Matt Saigai. Taking away guns in the United States is not the same as implementing socialism or communism. It just isn't, at all, in my opinion. Okay, if it were Trump, they'd hand it over to him freely. Yeah, probably, Doug. You're right. Yeah, that's actually a good point, Doug. You're very right about that. Well, Doug, except I think the left, there are a lot of armed people on the left too. They probably wouldn't, but I see what you mean. Okay. Thank you, Outer Signal. I got you, Matt Saigai, but like, my point though, Matt Saigai, is like, once you have the guns, it is very hard. Yeah, I agree, Alyssa. I do think we'd get socialism before Americans ever gave up guns. You have to understand here, Matt Saigai, like, it is a cultural thing here. Like, that's my issue, is that it's a major cultural thing, and people associate gun ownership with, like, freedom and independence, and men associate it with their penises. I'm partially not exaggerating when I say that. So if you want to go around taking all of men's penises away, I suspect might be some resistance. I know that sounds like I'm way oversimplifying, only by a little bit, only a little bit. And we have to live here, Matt Saigai, like all the Americans here. We have to live here, and I would rather not enable a revolt of all these far right. Okay. I would rather not enable all these far right militias to go out and start slaughtering people, because if the government went after them, they would take that as an act of war. And you know who would be the most targeted? Minority groups. Thank you, Elevator Lady. Minority groups would be the most targeted. They'd be the most exposed to the violence. Absolutely, 100%. So anyway, okay. Not as Matt Saigai, I am not joking when I say this. This is a good debate, though, Matt Saigai. So Matt Saigai says, well, so is capitalism. Capitalism isn't just a form or economic structuring in the U.S., is it? It's considered, it is, but not as much as owning guns, Matt Saigai. Like, America has a long history of socialist movements and things like that. 100% it does. They have often been suppressed, but like the May Day celebration comes from the United States, for example. We have a long history of social movement stuff. We do not have a long history of restricting gun rights at all. Guns have long been, it's a big issue, okay? And I would ask you, Matt Saigai, but like, let's take what you're saying for granted, Matt Saigai. Let's say that we could just get rid of why don't we just get rid of capitalism then? I don't advocate for that either, Matt Saigai. What would happen if we just suddenly one day eliminated capitalism? How do we do that? Wouldn't that cause mass chaos and things like that, right? I advocate a process. There might be a way by process to get rid of guns, but we're not just going to ban all guns, right? I think there's more of a process of getting rid of capitalism, just like there's a process of getting rid of guns. There you go, outer signal. I agree. Like, so that's I kind of side with outer signal here. We can slowly move towards that, but to ban all of them, yeah, it is outer signal. Like one of the key American origin myths is a well-regulated armed militias fighting off British. Though, of course, you know, outer signal that has been distorted into simple gun ownership. Originally, it was about well-regulated militias. But actually, outer signal, it's a fair point. We could do it where we sort of change the myth into having well-regulated militias. That'd be interesting. Okay. Anyway, so. All right, guys. So, all right. Yeah. The Second Amendment should be. No, you're right, Sir Bartholomew. There'd still be guns coming in the country and stuff. That is true, Sir Bartholomew. Can you all hear me still? Oh, no, Matt Saiga, you know you're right. Okay, we're doing nothing about it. Nothing. That is a big issue. That is fair, Matt Saiga. We do need to do something. Okay. That's weird that it cut out. Okay. You're totally right, Matt. It's like we're like doing nothing about it. We need to do something about it. So let's agree on that note, Matt. Like I do agree with you that we need to do something about regulating it. Like we really need to do something. Totally get you, Matt. Yeah, no, me neither, JDH. That's another thing too. Under this administration, I don't know if I want to do gun regulation at the moment. I know that's horrible. The Second Amendment should be a call for single payer health care. Can't have it, will be regulated with sick militia. Sick militia? No, Doug, that's actually a really good point. That's a really interesting approach, Doug. You're on fire, Doug. Doug says we should, the Second Amendment should be a call for single payer health care. We basically can't have a sick militia, right? That's actually an interesting point, Doug. That would work in America, right? We need single payer healthcare. Otherwise, all of our war fighters and our gun owners will be sick. Okay. Or something like that. That's good. Okay. All right, guys. And yeah, you're right, Sir Bartholomew. Like guns will come and find a way. Right now, though, there are so many guns in the US that it is spreading to other countries. If anyone here is from Mexico, I don't think there is. Our guns are going into Mexico and the cartels use our guns. Our guns are going into Latin America. Our guns are going into Canada. Like, it's almost like an infection, the amount of guns that are in the United States. Yeah, literally, elevator lady. Like, we have so many guns going everywhere all the time. Hell, our guns are going to Israel, right? Our guns are ending up everywhere. Our guns are the guns owned by the Taliban because we sent our guns over there to the Mujahideen, right? Which then ended up getting the Taliban, and so like it's a problem everywhere. Our guns, all right. All right, this is a complex issue, though, folks, because you also know I am also for resisting authoritarian government. And right now, okay, maybe we'll talk about that on the Discord sometime. Okay, I don't know if I can talk about that on here. All right, guys, I just realized I'm way past my end time here. Okay, guys, so we didn't get to enough to do an After Dark stream. That being said, excellent elevator lady, fantastic. Okay. And I will say I don't have a fully clear idea on this topic, right? I weirdly enough I agree with Matt Saigai. Like in a perfect world there'd be no guns, but I don't see how we can get there. And at the same time, I also understand the instinct, especially right now in the United States, for wanting weapons to protect oneself from an authoritarian government. But I'm also afraid of guns because I was a teacher and I also know. So, okay, like it's a complicated issue. But what I can't stand are people saying everything is fine the way it is. We need some sort of change, right? I think we can mainly agree with that. Okay. All right, guys. So, on that note, folks, I am going to go now. Thank you, everyone who watched and listened. Please join our Discord if you haven't already. We have a lovely, it's posted at the top of the YouTube chat. We got a really great community there. If you're interested, you can go and join the community. Great community there. Just have 150 members. Okay. If you like my content, you can become a member for as little as 99 cents a month by hitting the join button. Okay. And by the way, Outer Signal, I'm going to get back to you about your video. Okay. Oh no, I know Matt Saigai. I know. It was a good debate, Matt Saigai. I think I was kind of misunderstanding your argument, Matt Saigai, and I acknowledge that, but I get it now. Yeah, I agree, Matt Saigai. Okay. So we, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, Outer Signal. Yeah, so anyway, Outer Signal, by the way, folks, Outer Signal has a YouTube channel, and I'll post it in chat here sometime. Well, I'll talk to Outer Signal first. It has some pretty good videos. I was watching a couple of them, really good videos. But I'll get back to you about it soon, Outer Signal. And because I've been so busy, but I'll do my best on the Outer Signal. I just wanted to let you know, Outer Signal. Anyone else? I feel like there are other people. Oh, I'm still working with Punk Apostate to find a good day to do a collaboration with Punk Apostate. There's that too. Thank you, Doug. You know Doug, okay? Okay. All right. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. Everyone ready? You all know what I'm about to say. You all know what I'm about to say. First of all, free Palestine. Free Palestine. And by the way, don't forget about Sudan. Don't forget about Sudan. Secondly, never stop resisting. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves, and that includes when you watch me. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. See what other people are saying. Don't get caught in an information silo, because the easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. Thirdly, we're living in a fascist moment in this country, not only in this country, but in other countries around the world. Fascism thrives in an environment where people have lost faith in their democratic institutions. And by the way, also free Ukraine. Elevator lady reminded me. She didn't say that, but I don't know if you're a she. My apologies. Free Palestine, free Sudan, free Ukraine, free everyone. Everyone should be free, okay? Fascism thrives in an environment where people have lost faith in their democratic institutions, so they turn to more radical ends of the political spectrum, okay? Nigeria also has some issues going on. Okay, we need major reforms in this country. Major reforms. You cannot stand in the center. If you stand in the center, the fascists will walk all over you. All over you. Do not be a slug. Do not let the fascists walk all over you. Resist, okay? I know we just talked about guns, but there are many forms of resistance. Let's put it that way. I advocate for nonviolent forms. You need to resist. Thirdly, free the USA. That's right, Dead Inside 6 something. On the wall behind me is a sword. The name of that sword is Chainbreaker. Chainbreaker is thought to have been responsible for the death of 7 slave owners. It's been passed down in my family for many years. Why do I have it back there? I have it back there to remind everyone that our ancestors made some major sacrifices for some of the things we have today, including sometimes putting their lives on the line. We cannot let their sacrifices go to waste. Please, please, please. Blood has been spilled. Sacrifices have been made for some of the things we have today, and some of those things are being rolled back. We cannot let their sacrifice go to waste, folks. And if you think we're going through a hard time now, just read some history. The people in the past were really going through some hard stuff, okay? And they still managed to create change and continue to resist. So we cannot let their sacrifice go to waste, folks. Please don't do that. And always, always, always fight for a better future. And on that note, folks, I love you all very much. Wednesday is my off day. It's another off day. I'll be off tomorrow. For those that are still sick, I hope you feel better. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good morning, noon, afternoon, day, night, wherever you may be in the world. Bye-bye, guys.